Good afternoon, everyone. You're welcome here to Cusick Park for the first quarter-final of the Clare Senior Football Championship between Ennistymon and Cratloe. On today's commentary, I'm joined by former Clare and Munster goalkeeper, soon to be coach with Tipperary footballers. It's Joe Hayes and Lizzie Casey. Joe, you're welcome to Clare GATV.
Thanks very much, Leo. Thanks. Happy to be here.
Joe, two of the big names here in this first quarter-final, Ennistymon and Cratloe. Ennistymon, who were in the county final last year, still thriving to win their first county championship. And, you know, at the end of the day, one of the big teams going to be gone.
Yeah, listen, it's definitely the tide around. As you said, two top teams, county final team last year. Cratloe, who are always thereabouts, semi-finals, county finals in the last couple of years. I'm really looking forward to now. It's going to be a massive game. Very good tactical battle coming up, I say. So it'll be interesting to see who comes out the right end of it and come half three.
Yeah, indeed. We'll give you the lineups here, which game live here on Clare GATV. And the first the Cratloe team. In goals is Pierce Luckery. The full back line is made up of Sean Chaplin, Liam Markham, the team captain, and Sean O'Gorman. Michael Hawes is named at wing back, with Sean Collins and David Collins centre and wing back respectively. Shane Gleeson and Dermot Ryan are in the middle of the field. Rian Consign, Podge Collins and Colin O'Hanlon is the half forward line, with Cathal McInerney, Conor McGrath and Ogie Murphy named in the corner forward position. The Ennistymon team is as follows. In goals is Shane Keane, Derek Conneely, Sean O'Driscoll and Adam Ralph is the full back line. Sean Ryan, Inda Ralph and Killian Ryan is the half back line. Cathal Malone and David Fitzgerald are in the middle of the field. Willie Murphy, Michael McDonough and Michael Lee is the half forward line, with Tiernan Hogan, Sean McConaughey and Keane Shannon the full forward line. And Joe, we'll start with the Ennistymon team and a number of changes from the team that's on the programme, you know, and some experienced players not starting for Ennistymon, Joe.
Yeah, listen, Lawrence he's been carrying a knock there this year, and he didn't start a few games at the start of the year. Joe, he's maybe not ready to come back in or start a game yet. Adam Ralph, who has good experience, is going to start there, corner back. Big surprise here with the two corner forwards gone. Joe, we're just presuming up here, Leo, that they're injured. Joe Dowling, who we talked about, has given so much to Ennistymon the last few years, would always say he's the go-to man, and Joe Iran as well, like, you know. So we're just presuming they're knocks. Hopefully, if it is knocks, they are able to contribute some bit and maybe coming off the bench. But just looking there, like, very strong half back line in Ennistymon, and the two boys midfield, like Cathal Malone, Dave Fitzgerald. Joe, if they weren't hurlers, they'd be playing county football, no doubt about it. So yeah, it is interesting to see are the two boys carrying knocks, and that's why they're not starting. Yeah,
and indeed both that you know that Joey Ryan and Joe Dowling are both tugged and part of the panel. Indeed, Joey Ryan he's gone through, or Joe Dowling is going through a strenuous stretching session down there in the corner. And as you said, Joe, you're speaking about the Cathal Malone and David Fitzgerald, and there, obviously, you can, as you see, the Cratloe team in the middle of the field is Shane Gleeson, Dermot Ryan, and these four are quality hurlers also. And I suppose any one of the four, if they were concentrating totally in football, would probably be on the Clare football team.
Yeah, 100%. Like, you know, as you said, all have played county hurling. Shane Gleeson's played county 21. Again, very energetic fella around the middle of the field. It's going to be some battle between the four of them. There's going to be no issue of fitness between the four of them anyway. So maybe the power of the lads, Cathal and Davy, probably are that bit more powerful, more developed than Dermot and Shane. So that might come into play towards the end of the game. But an intriguing battle in front of us between them four.
And indeed, you're looking at the Cratloe full forward line, big names also, Cathal McInerney and Conor McGrath. Now, Ogie Murphy, Joe, as you said off air, is named a corner forward, but you don't expect him to line out there.
No, we'll be very surprised if we see Ogie in there. There's either going to be a switch or we'll see Ogie dropping back. Knowing the way Cratloe play, I presume it'll be a switch. Cratloe don't really play sweepers, they don't really do sweepers. So you could see someone like Davy Collins, or you could see Sean Collins being pushed up with Ogie slipping back into the half back line. Again, and the boys out injured from the hurling last week, he told me, I could easily expect maybe Michael Hawes to go in centre back or full back even, and release Liam Markham out to the half back line. So all will be revealed now in the next couple of minutes, I suppose. But yeah, listen, Cathal McInerney and Conor McGrath, Joe, it's going to the boys in the full back line, Sean O'Driscoll, and these lads are going to have a tough battle against them, but that's where it could be won as well. So the Ennistymon boys need to be up to scratch to keep the boys out.
Yeah, indeed, Cratloe, who defeated Clondigad in the opening round of their group game, lost out in Rogue, and Ennistymon, who defeated Clare and doing big on the way here. And looking at Ennistymon, Joe, and they haven't played for a while. Do you think, I know Cratloe are on, week off with the hurling and the football, but I suppose Rogue, put both of them to the pin, put Cratloe to the pin, give them a good beating. But looking at it, the gap. How do you think the gap will affect the teams, or will Ennistymon be the fresher of the two coming through?
Yeah, listen, sometimes it works different ways. Cratloe just seem to be week on, week off, and they just seem to be so used to it now. They're doing it with years. I think they're immune to it now, and it doesn't bother them. Ennistymon, yeah, they haven't played in, is it 4 weeks, is it? So it depends. I don't know. Like, I'd be good friends with Quinlan, but he wouldn't tell you much, so I don't know. Have to been playing top quality challenge games. Obviously, their hurlers, Cahill and David, have been probably not with him all the time either. The start is vital. Like, if any team here thinks they can come and just maybe ease themselves into it, they could be 5 or 6 points down within 10 minutes. So to start, I expect both teams to go at it hammer and tongs early on. And Joe, we know after 10 minutes, is it better off to have a few weeks break, or is it better off to be going every week? You know. As
you said, Joe, you expect it to go hammer and tongs. Really, neither of these teams really do tactics. Tis all out. You know, tis gung ho really.
Yeah, like it is. It's not that I'm saying they don't do tactics. Like Cullum and Jur and Bordeaux, they're all very tactical aware, but they're both. They know that to win a game you have to score more than the opposition. So it's not. You won't see too many sweepers. You'll see fellas working up and down. You'll see the wing forwards dropping but you'll see no fellas sitting inside, or two fellas sweepers sitting inside. They'll be working very hard. But I expect this to be relatively high scoring. I do. I expect both teams to hit over a certain amount of points. That we'll consider the high scoring game.
Now, as we look out here, we've had a perfect week here leading up to the game. You know, the Hughesy Park in absolutely perfect condition. However, Joe, there is a strong breeze blowing, and you know, I see the free takers are taking plenty of practice there. But how do you see the breeze affecting the game?
Yeah, it's normally it's going straight down to the goals, but it seems to be going into the corner there. So there's certain playing down into the Aldi end here. It's going to suit right footers to curl it over. The same playing up into the town end, it's going to be suiting the Cotton McInerney's and the left footers. So again, that could come down to it. There'd be balls just going wide by the skin of their teeth that would normally drift over with just a normal breeze. So yeah, while it's not a massive straight into one goals, it is going to play some part in relation to freeze and where you can take a shot from, and your best angle to take the shot.
And speaking of the same man you mentioned there, Cahill McInerney, you know, an exceptional talent at both hurling and football, and I suppose he's going to have a major say here.
Yeah, he is. Like Ennistymon have to be disciplined if they're going to give away freeze. They might as well head back to Ennistymon now, because Cahill won't miss too many. I hope I don't give him the commentator's curse now, because that's normally what happens. But no, listen, Cahill McInerney and Conor McGrath have probably been the two top class outstanding footballers in club, are two of the top in the last couple of years, but they're hurlers, you know, at the end of the day, but they would easily be playing county football as well.
Yeah, and we take a break now for Oran Navian. And it seems as Cratloe are playing with the aid of the breeze here in the first half. I see in the Ralph moving down to his centre back position. Pierce Delocre making the long run from the goals at the LD end up to the town end. As Joe said, the breeze will be favouring Cratloe here in the first half. Breeze kind of blown down the field, but going into the corner at the CBS side of the field, over to the far side from our commentary position here. As both teams are taking up their positions, we'll see. I see Ogie Murphy is actually gone back into wing back position already. Michael Hawes wing forward. What do you make of those changes, Joe?
Yeah, I knew Ogie would be going straight back. I'm surprised that Michael Hawes is up wing forward, but listen, he probably is not going to be an out-and-out wing forward. Again, I don't think he'll be sitting as a sweeper either, but he probably will be dropping back, and they will be trying to create space for Connor and Cahill inside in the full forward line. Rian Constantine's gone in there at the moment, but I expect him to drift out to wing forward when Michael Hawes drops back a bit.
Yeah, and the game is on here in Hughesy Park. Cornell Henlon has gone to midfield. The ball is down, and here coming this time, and it's Cahill Malone, who started off brightly the last leg in Clare in Milton as well, being shadowed by Podge Collins. Gives the ball back to Michael Lee, the hard-working Michael Lee. Gives the ball back to Sean Ryan in his time and going back, building from the back. Gives the ball back to Tiernan Hogan. Here comes Hogan, who's playing back in the backs in these early stages as Cratloe funnel their players back. Here coming Simon, going up along the far side of the field. Out to Willie Murphy. Willie Murphy breaking in through the middle, looking for the runner. Being flanked. Here comes the ball to Killian Ryan. Ryan, who started after scoring the Leicester. Getting the ball. The ball is coming back out to Cathal Malone. 40 metres from the Cratloe goal. Cathal Malone being shadowed by Cash Collins. Gives the ball back to Michael McDonough. McDonough, who had a great game the Leicester. Being robbed there by David Collins. But the ball comes back to Sean Ryan. Sean Ryan recycles the ball to Cathal Malone. Malone goes back to Tiernan Hogan. Hogan on a lot of ball in these early stages. Gives the ball to Murphy. Here comes Murphy trying to come through the middle. Murphy gets away from Sean O'Gorman. Here comes Willie Murphy. Murphy lifts the ball in, passes the ball into the full forward. The full forward mechanically gets it to Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald's shot is blocked down, but it comes back out to wing to Willie Murphy. Can Murphy open the scoring? He's being closed down. He gives the ball back to Cian Shannon, and Shannon with a kick, a shot, and there's the first score of the game. Good patient play from Ennistymon, Joe, and a good finish.
Yeah, Cratloe didn't touch the ball there. Ennistymon held it, got into the opening. Great block there by, I think it was Liam Markham, that possibly was going to be a point anyway. But no, a great finish against the breeze. I see Ennistymon now, they've not pushed up fully. No, they're pushing up fully on the kick out. So Pearce is possibly going to have to go long, or there's going to be hard runs have to be made.
Yeah, and indeed there's an injury down there for Cratloe, and it looked like Michael Hawes has picked up an injury here in the early stages. Ennistymon 1 point, Cratloe no score in this game live here on Clare GATV, and Michael Hawes, who was very instrumental in helping Cratloe to knock out Clonlara out of the hurling championship last week, seems to be okay, and it's going to be Pearse the Lucre with his kick out for Cratloe. The Lucre goes long with this one, looking for Colin O'Hanlon, and the ball goes out to Hanlon. Good pick from the Lucre, out around the middle of the field, but the ball defeats him out over the line ball, going to be taken by Willie Murphy. Willie Murphy going back to Darragh Conneely. In his time going to build from the back again. He's going to give it to, he takes on his men, he gives it to Malone, very athletic Cathal Malone. Playing around with the ball now, being shadowed by Podge Collins. Gets the ball back to O'Driscoll, the team captain, who had more or less a free road against Clare the last time, played it to perfection. Here comes O'Driscoll, gives the ball back to Adam Ralph gets the ball out here to Tiernan Hogan. There's plenty of space here in front of the stands for Hogan. He's going to be closed down by Conor McGrath. Gets the ball back to Michael Lee, but McGrath does well, robs him. Gets the ball out to Ogie Murphy giving the ball back. He's looking for number 10. Number 10 is Rian Consign. Here come Consign, another one of the dual players. Nearly all the Cratloe players are dual players. Ogie with the low ball in, but he's going to be caught out by Malone, the hard working Malone. He's going to give the ball back to Sean O'Driscoll. Here comes the centre back. He's in the Ralph. It's the ball back across to Willie Murphy. Line deep, come across his own half back line. Going to be flanked up by Sean O'Gorman. Here comes Murphy, using his pace to try and get away from here. And he's being pushed to the back by Podge Collins. Quick free from Murphy. Gives it out to Adam Ralph coming across. He's looking for Hogan, waiting for Hogan to make the run, but indeed he gets the ball to Cian Shannon. Here comes Shannon gets out in front of Sean Chaplin. Here comes Cian Shannon, gives it back to Cathal Malone, and here comes Malone trying to make the run. We're looking for the player, recycles the ball back to Killian Ryan being chased there by Sean Collins. Ryan, very impressive, this fella. He's going to pop the ball off to McInerney, off to Fitzgerald. Here comes Fitzgerald, who got a great goal the last leg. Recycles the ball back to Killian Ryan going to shoot with his left, and a shot from Killian Ryan goes out to left hand, right hand side of the post and goes wide. Indeed, in these early stages, Joe, not much break, but Ennistymon well on top.
Yeah, listen, they've all the possession at the moment. Cratloe had the possession there a few minutes ago, and they kicked it straight down to Cathal Malone. Another kick out gone over the sideline here. There's a chance here of another score here.
Yeah, and the kick out it comes out now in the hands of Sean McConaughey, a great block down, but the ball comes back to McConaughey and they're going to turn off his right, pass it back to Cathal Malone strikes off his right hand side. Is that the second score for straight over the bar from Cathal Malone? Good score from 40 yards. And Joe, even in these early stages, I know you're a very experienced and one of the top class goalkeepers, and Pearse Lucre is an experienced goalkeeper, but two of his kick-outs have gone astray in these early stages.
Yeah, listen, the first one maybe was a bit overhit, but the last one there, I think it was a good ball. I think Davy Collins took his eye off the ball. John Pearse is probably one of the best in the counties with the short kick-out, so now Cratloe have it moving again here, and they're moving and trying to get it through the hands.
Yeah, and he comes to Sean Collins going to look for Colin O'Hanlon being pulled up by Tiernan Hogan. In his time and being very, and there's an instant. Joe, there's an instant off the ball. Can you tell us more?
Yeah, listen, I think it's only handbags, to be honest. I saw it a few minutes ago as well. Podge and his marker ended up on the ground, just rolling around, and thereafter ended up on the ground again. Their umpire has his Pat Cosgrove called it here now. I say maybe, listen, just a talking to would do, to be honest. Worst case scenario, yellow cards, but I think just a talking to here, it's early stages. If Pat give him a stern talking to, I say that might be end if it's just a bit of messing.
And indeed, Joe, there's no doubt Pat Cosgrave, one of the most experienced referees, one of the top referees in the county, and he's Podge Collins and Sean Ryan. He's having a word. He's taken the names, took advice from the linesmen. The umpires had their hands out at the back of the goals. We're gone five and a half minutes here in this first quarter final in the Clare Senior Football Championship. As you rightly said, Joe, Carterbury, Bert Buckley.
Yeah, listen, 2 yellow cards now, especially Sean Ryan now, especially as a defender, he's walking on eggshells now for the rest of the game. There's another 55 minutes to go here, so listen, he has to be careful now, whatever about Podge, but Sean Ryan can't avoid tackling. And
then about the quick free, it's up to Podge Collins. Here comes Podge Collins, being pulled back by Sean Ryan and being fouled by Sean Ryan. And Joe, immediately a pull back, by Sean Ryan. And as you said, he's going to have to tread very, very carefully from here on in.
Oh, 100%. Listen, I thought the first one there, Pat put the hand up soft, but the second one, no doubt, caught him on the shoulder, pulled him back. Now a chance for Colin McNerney to kick his first free. Relatively, you'd imagine by his standards, relatively easy. Unless the breeze puts him off here now, but he should put this over. No, I see Michael Hawes is more or less sitting as a sweeper here now, but they will push up for the kickouts, but he seems to be playing behind Sean Collins, which is very un-Cratloe-like, but they seem to be doing it for the first half anyway.
And here comes McInerney with the free, 25 yards just outside the D. And McInerney drops it short, he's cut inside by Michael McDonough, the centre forward playing back, as I said, but the ball came to Malone. Malone pushed in the back by Conor McGrath. Malone goes back to the goalkeeper, Shane Keane. Shane Keane recycles out to Sean Ryan. Sean Ryan being chased up gives the ball out to Tiernan Hogan. Tiernan Hogan, a playmaker here, gets the ball out, getting out to the cornerback, Darragh Keneally. Keneally giving it back, going to give it, but he gives it out to the centre back, out to Adam Ralph. There's two Ralphs out to Malone. Cathal Malone moving and coming across his own 65, gets the ball back to Keneally. Keneally beginning to make ground, looking for the runners, and here he's going to give it to Killian Ryan. He does, he takes the dummy and gives it back to the wing back is Sean Ryan, gives it back to giving it out now to Tiernan Hogan. The pass receive from Adam Ralph, and here comes Ryan, gives it up to Michael Lee. Michael Lee will walk up and down the field. They're waiting for patience to key here. Here comes Michael Lee, he tries to get around for Mogi Murphy. A shot from Michael Lee, a shot and straight over the bar. 3 points and no score. Joe Hayes, a good start to his fight in any game, and Ennistymon have definitely got that.
Yeah, listen, we were wondering what team, which is better, having the break or going week for week. At the moment, it looks like having the break, and Ennistymon are fully on top, fully merited their 3-point lead here. They're very patient with the ball. They're not giving it away. They're working very, very hard. And
a kick out from Pierce Lucky goes long, looks for Colin O'Hanlon. O'Hanlon wins it, and he's pulled back there by Michael Lee. And indeed, O'Hanlon hit the ground. I'd say, Joe, did he hit his head when he hit the ground?
Yeah, I say just took a bang at the ground. He'll be up now in a minute or two, but just maybe slowing it down as well a small bit. And Ennistymon are well on top, just letting fellas get their breather for Cratloe, letting the Cratloe management get their men in place. So maybe no harm to stay down for another 30 seconds or so.
And indeed, Joe, looking at Ennistymon, they were in the county final last year, put up a more than credible display, but they seem to have even, driven on from that this year.
Oh, listen, I say the hunger inside them is top class. Like, they've 2 men on the line there just down below us on their left. 2 very, very, very big football men. One an Ennistymon, but Joe Quinlan, whatever he goes into, he puts his heart and soul into it. So they're well up for this game.
And here comes Podge Collins. Podge Collins breaking through a shot and a pull back. Good referee in there by Pat Cosgrave. But I tell you, if a leader needed to be stepped up, and Podge took on the Ennistymon defence there, was pulled back there by the wing forward. Actually, was Willie Murphy, who was back in the defensive role, and a free in for Cratloe. And as Joe said, 2 very experienced men, Mark Shanahan, who live and die for the Ennistymon football, and Ger Quinlan, the men from O'Curry's, who gave tremendous service to Clare, a tremendous, servant and great ambassador for football. And if you can see from his passion on the sideline, he's the very same as he was when he was playing. He gives it 100%. Free kick in for Cratloe, going to be taken by Sean Collins, 14 metres out from the Ennistymon goals. As we said, Shane Keane defending the goals at LD, and there's the first score of the game for Cratloe. 9.5 minutes gone. It's Ennistymon 3 points, Cratloe 1 point, and Cratloe, they needed a score, Joe.
Yeah, they definitely needed to settle them. Joe Podge weaving in and out between the defence, eventually pull down, and I think that's what Cratloe need to do. They need to start running. They need to get the ball onto their Connor, Podge, Cahill, and they need to start taking on these Ennistymon lads and putting them on the back foot a small bit.
Yeah, and indeed, there's a lot of traffic around the outside of the D as Shane Keane takes the kick out. He goes long. He's going looking for McDonough. McDonough, the ball beats over his head. It's going to be won by David Collins. Indeed, the ball wins the battle. And David Collins with his ball going to gives it out to Liam Markham. Liam Markham going to recycle the ball out to Ogie Murphy across the ball. Ogie had to work a bit for that one. Gives the ball into O'Hanlon. Here comes O'Hanlon. And they challenge on Ogie there, but the ball comes in. Here comes Rian Consign. Very stylish footballer, this man, equally at home on the Hurling field. Here comes Rian Consign, gets the ball, recycles the ball into Shane Gleeson, named at midfield but playing at wing forward. A man with a long shot. He recycles the ball back to Podge Collins. Patience the key here for Cratloe. Here comes Podge, the orchestrator, as he tries to get away from Sean Ryan. Podge, a shot from Podge Collins. And that's a marvellous mind from Podge Collins. And indeed, Joe, Podge Collins attempted for Cratloe to get back into this game.
Yeah, listen, Podge has really worked the last two scores. Like Sean Rowan knows he can't tackle him properly. Alright, so I don't know, should maybe Ennistymon look at a move there, because Sean Rowan, he had his hand in and he pulled it out there and he couldn't keep going because he knew it was a free and possible second yellow. So there has to be maybe a move done there just because of that.
Yeah, and indeed the ball is with Sean Keneally, or Darragh Keneally. Darragh Keneally gets the ball out to Michael Lee, being pushed there by Michael Hawes. And there's no doubt about Joe that Podge Collins knows that every time he's going to get a ball, he's going to have a run at Sean Ryan.
Of course he is. Why wouldn't he? He knows Sean's on the yellow card. That wasn't 13 metres anyway, so it's going to be hot ball here. So Ennistymon now are after taking the foot off the gas a small bit. They're making silly mistakes. Do you know, they're not keeping it wide. They're getting clustered. They got turned over there by going into traffic. And here Cratloe on the attack again.
Here comes Diarmuid Ryan with the ball from Conor McGrath. Gets the ball into McInerney. And McInerney tried to turn his man. Would play by in the right to centre back. And a pick off the ground there by Sean O'Driscoll. And as you said, Ennistymon started off brightly, 3 points to 2, but it seemed to be a little rattled at this stage, Joe.
Yeah, I imagine this is going to be level now. Cratloe have absolutely, in the last 2.5 minutes, got this back level. And purely by just pushing up, working harder, Ennistymon then are going into tackles, carrying the ball into traffic and getting turned over. And here we have now, I jinxed him the last time, so I'll say not this time, but Cahill has a free here from 21 yards out, just slightly to the right of the goals.
Yeah, indeed, a free for Cahill McInerney, 21 yards out, about 15 metres to the right hand side of the goals. As we said, Ennistymon are defending the goals here at the LD end here in the first half here in this live game here. And we say hello to all our viewers, wherever you're tuned in today. We hope you're enjoying our coverage here on Clare GATV. And here comes Cahill McInerney, the man going to kick it with the left foot, the Kitog, here in from the stand side. He steadies himself. Here he comes, going to make in a few metres. And McInerney comes. We're level pegging in Cusick Park, 3 points all. 12 and nearly 13 minutes gone here. Ennistymon had the better of the play in the early stages, but Cratloe have come back in, and indeed Cratloe going with a very high press on the Ennistymon kick out for Shane Keane. So Shane Keane looks like he's going to have to go along, and you can see Cratloe working very, very hard on the kick out. Good kick out from Keane, goes out, but it's going to break over towards David Collins. David Collins goes back. Lets the ball out, keep playing it on, and he gives the ball out to Luckley. He has a new thing for the goalkeeper, Joe. I never saw you coming out that far out of the goal, but Joe Luckley, about 60 metres out, gives the ball to Sean Collins. Sean Collins recycles the ball off to Sean O'Gorman. Here comes O'Gorman, the man who hurls with O'Callaghan's Mills, gets the ball out to Ogie Murphy. Ogie Murphy gives it back to Markham, and here comes Cratloe. Podge on the run, takes attack, tries to take the ball into Ruwine, and the ball goes out to Diarmuid Ryan. Diarmuid Ryan has the battle to keep the ball in play over in front of this far stand here. Here comes Diarmuid Ryan. Diarmuid Ryan recycles the ball back to Liam Markham, where Cratloe are 65 metres from the Ennistymon goal. Many players back. There's only 2 Ennistymon players in the Cratloe half of the field. Here comes the ball. It's a bit Podge Collins. Podge recycles back out to Liam Markham. Liam Markham sells a dummy to Cian Shannon, and Liam Markham, he gives it out to Sean Collins. Sean Collins comes to Ogie in front of the stand here. Here comes Ogie Murphy, being chased, he's set up by David Fitzgerald. Here comes Ogie looking for Cahill McInerney, but McInerney's being held up, and the ball, and Diarmuid Ryan makes the run. Here comes Diarmuid Ryan, a great play by Cratloe out to McInerney. That's a brilliant score, Joe. Here's patience the key there, and all the top men that you want on the ball for Cratloe were on the ball.
Yeah, an absolute great score, and totally dictated by Ogie. He gave the right pass. Cahill McInerney with a second hard run. Joe, an absolute great score now, and Cratloe are after going into the lead after being 3 points down.
And a great kick out from Keane. Great kick caught there by McDonough. Takes the mark. Here comes McDonough, who had an excellent game against Clare the Leicester. Gives the ball back to Sean Ryan. It's Cratloe who are gone into the lead here, 4 points to 3. The ball's with Darragh Keneally. Keneally coming across into the Cratloe half of the field. Gets the ball back to Malone, who's been anonymous in the last few minutes, looking for out. He's coming across. He's careering into the Cratloe half of the field, and he gives the ball out towards Cian Shannon. A great pop pass off to Michael Lee, who gives a return pass to Malone. Here comes Malone, going shooting off his left, and the ball from Cathal Malone. No one inside, he shot on sight. And indeed, you can see the Colm Collins tactic, Joe, that you'd well know, real hard work from Cratloe.
Yeah, they're up and down the field, they're working very hard. They don't seem to be sitting. Michael Hawes doesn't seem to be sitting as deep as he was. They push up a bit more, which is probably suits him a bit more. Here's Michael Hawes on the ball going forward now. Yeah,
good kick out from the Lucre, out to David Collins, out to Hawes, out to Shane Gleeson. Shane Gleeson gets it off to Colin O'Hanlon. O'Hanlon gives the ball back to Gleeson, back to O'Hanlon. O'Hanlon glides around the challengers, and a shot from O'Hanlon. That's great football from Cratloe, and in fairness to Cratloe, Joe, the last 10 minutes have been just excellent football.
Yeah, listen, the top class score, I say Pierce Lucre had to kick out within 10 seconds, and they moved it the whole way up. Not a hand being laid on them, and now they're after going into a 2-point lead.
Yeah, and a kick out there from Shane Keane, found Adam Ralph, and the ball breaks out to Killian Ryan. Killian Ryan gets the better of Michael Hawes. We haven't seen much of Killian Ryan in this game, but are we going to see the first score from Killian Ryan today? He's going to recycle the ball back to McDonough. McDonough shoots off his left hand side, and that's a tail that gone out to the left hand side. And indeed, it's 5 points to 3, 16 minutes gone here, and the Lucre very quick with the kick out, as Joe said, he's one of the best goalkeepers in, and the ball, Ogie Murphy used his body well to shield the ball to get away from the challenge, and the ball, he gives the ball, he's coming across, gives it to Sean Collins gives it out to Liam Malcolm. Patience again from Cratloe as they begin their build up. Sean Collins crossing his own 65 metre line now. Support runners with him. The runner is David Collins. And David Collins gives the ball into O'Hanlon. O'Hanlon seems to glide around, and here comes Malcolm, who has made the run up from the back, and here comes Malcolm. A shot from Liam Malcolm. That's double scores, 6 points to 3, and the last 6 scores from Cratloe, Joe. And we haven't seen football like that, of a standard like that, in many a day.
No, listen, Cratloe have really just settled into the game. They took them a few minutes to get going, but I said they're after turning this over again. No, they're not. But Ennistymon need to score quick. They need to do what they were doing the first few minutes. They need to keep it wide, and they need to move the ball faster. But at the moment, they're moving it too slow, and they're not penetrating the Cratloe attack or Cratloe defence.
Yeah. Indeed, as you said, Joe, Ennistymon, the pace has died down. Here comes Cathal Malone, trying to energise the Ennistymon attack, going across his own field, being chased down there by Rian Constant. Cratloe working very hard. The ball comes out to McDonough. McDonough trying to get the ball, gives the ball into Willie Murphy. He's been held up by O'Hanlon, and here comes the runner of Adam Ralph for Conor McGrath chasing back. The ball comes out to Rowan. There's only one man inside, pulled back inside, got away with it. Here comes Ryan crossing 30, gives it out to Cathal Malone. Can Malone get a score for Ennistymon, and a shot, and it goes out to the right left hand side and gone wide. And indeed, looking at the Ennistymon attack, Joe, they were making plenty of runs in the early stages. The forwards just not making the same runs now.
Yeah, no, Cratloe seem to have the whole thing tied up at the back there. Again, Cratloe offered a short kick out. Which years they're doing it, you either have to push up on them fully or you drop back. But Ennistymon seem to be doing neither at the moment. And here they go again into the opposition half straight away.
Yeah, and the ball is with Sean O'Gorman. Podge Collins side says Pat Cosgrove, and that's it. No, that's Pat Cosgrove, the referee. And here comes Podge. Conor McGrath making the run for him. Podge being chased by Tiernan Hogan. Here comes Podge being held up by Sean O'Driscoll. Gives that ball out to Conor McGrath. Conor McGrath recycles the ball out to Sean O'Gorman. Plenty of space for O'Gorman. 21 metres out from Ennistymon goal. In front of this, a poor pass from Sean O'Gorman. And a lazy pass, but looking for Sean O'Driscoll. But the ball comes back to Conor McGrath. And he gives the run for David Collins. David Collins gives it back to Sean Collins. Sean Collins, the centre back. Plenty of movement from the Cratloe. The ball is over O'Hanlon. He already has 1 point got, and a late challenge there by Willie Murphy on Sean Chaplin. And indeed, the direct running, Joe, of the Cratloe is causing plenty of problems for Ennistymon.
Yeah, and Ennistymon had the ball turned over there and let it go straight away again. Joe, I think it was a soft free there. I think Sean Collins knew what he was doing, but they're after getting a free shot now in front of the post. So this will possibly put him 4 points up. Cratloe totally in control at the moment, absolutely totally in control.
And a free for Cathal McInerney just on the edge of the D. 20 minutes nearly gone here in the first half here on Clare GATV. It's Cratloe ahead by double scores. Cratloe 6 points, Ennistymon 3 points. Can McInerney with his trusty left foot put Cratloe 4 points up. He's just on the edge of the D, taking his time to compose himself as he always does. He's famous. He's traditional run up, and McInerney straight over the bar, 7 points to 3. And indeed, Joe, if they hadn't been warned already, plenty of alarm bells now for Ennistymon.
Yeah, 100%. You cannot give, I said at the start, you can't give away frees. I think that's Cahill's third free. Cratloe are fully pushing up and kick-outs. Ennistymon are struggling under long kick-outs. Coming out here underneath the stand now, see how they got on with this one. But Cratloe totally on top.
Shane Keane's puck out, well brought down by Michael, brought down by Ogie Murphy, and the ball breaks to Podge. Podge, who's leading the Director General here of the Cratloe attack, gives the ball out to Sean Collins. Sean Collins gives it out to O'Hanlon. O'Hanlon gone in from his midfield position, in now or in around wing forward. What's he going to do? Looking for the runner. He's going to take on his man. He has already 1 point got. Here comes O'Hanlon. A shot from O'Hanlon. And good catching side by Shane Keane. Safe hands. Gets the ball out to Sean O'Driscoll. O'Driscoll being held up by McInerney. Ennistymon are down on their own 21-yard line. And he gives it to Conneely. Conneely gives the ball out to Willie Murphy. Willie Murphy the wing forward. Here comes Willie Murphy, who plays all over the place. Coming across to Cratloe 65 now. But there's very little support for him above in the forwards. Comes out to Killian Ryan. Ryan. He's going to give the ball off to Tiernan Hogan. Hogan taking the challenge to Cratloe now. Hogan giving the ball out to Michael Lee, and instead he leaves it for Cian Shannon. Here comes Cian Shannon. Cian Shannon getting away from Sean O'Gorman. He's now 21 metres out. Gives the ball back out to Hogan. A lot of Cratloe blue jerseys back there for Cratloe, and a good ball from Shannon. He finds Murphy 40 metres out from the Cratloe goal. A shot from Willie Murphy out to the left hand side and gone wide. And indeed, Joe, even in the shot selection of the Ennistymon forwards leaves a lot to be desired.
No, like Ennistymon, their first 3 shots went over the bar, and now their last few shots are shooting from too far out. They need to work at where they were the first few shots, get them in front of the goals, get them into the shooting position, and they need a point soon. And if they don't get it, I say Cratloe could start pulling away here.
And a good kick out from the Lucre. Goes long with this one. He's going to break down by Sean. Punched down by Sean O'Driscoll. O'Driscoll blocks the ball down to Sean Ryan. Gives it to Fitzgerald. Indeed, Podge pulls back Sean Ryan and that's it. And they're having a tremendous battle there all over the place. Indeed, Sean Ryan and Podge both who are on court to breeze. A free going to be taken by Sean O'Driscoll. Sean O'Driscoll, the Ennistymon captain, goes backwards to Adam Ralph. We're just clocking 22 minutes here in the first half. And the ball comes back to O'Driscoll. O'Driscoll out around now midfield. Gives it to Killian Ryan. Ryan gives it Conneely. Conneely injects a bit of pace. He gives the ball back out to Malone. Malone gets away from Dermot Ryan. Here comes Cahill Malone. Malone trying to, is he going to shoot from this side? He gives the ball back to Killian Ryan. Ryan back to Murphy. Here comes Murphy coming in front of goal. Back out to Michael Lee. Better play for Ennistymon. Patience, Joe, the key, and good finish from Michael Lee.
Yeah, listen, that's better. They worked it right in, got it out to Michael Lee, right in just inside outside 21. He just slipped it over. They needed that. They needed that big time, and they've pushed up now again. So they're trying to stop short kick out. So we'll see how Pearce gets on with this one.
Yeah, here's Pearce Lucre with the kick out. He's looking. Pearce, of course, he's always looking for a shot front. He goes shot, and Stephen Cluxton with the left boot gives it out to Ogie Murphy. Ogie Murphy going to give the ball to Liam Markham, a good foot pass out to David Collins. Cratloe have all the skills, and here comes Collins, a free open country in front of him as he crosses the 65. He's going to get it. Is he going looking for long? He's going to give it to Podge, who will always make the run. And down goes Adam Ralph there, and I think a free going to be given again. I'd say it could be David Collins on this occasion. I think, Joe, he might have lifted a bit of an elbow and he passed on.
I didn't see it, I'll be honest, I didn't see it. I said, I don't know. We'll see now. What yellow card by Pat, so he obviously, there was something after he popped the ball. He obviously did something, but he's after giving away possession now back to Ennistymon, so Ennistymon going to have a chance to launch another attack.
And indeed, Cratloe were deep in Ennistymon territory, and the ball is kicked. It's with Adam Ralph. Here comes Adam Ralph, a big strong man, as he crosses gives the ball out to David Fitzgerald. David Fitzgerald overrun, and he just seemed to let it go. And the ball comes to Podge Collins out to Conor McGrath. Conor McGrath. Ennistymon officials, he marked Shannon getting a bit irate there with David Fitzgerald. Tell him to walk back. You cannot afford not to walk again, Cratloe. Are you going over? The ball is with Podge Collins. Podge Collins been dumped there by Sean Conneely. Out to Conor McGrath. He's going to go back to Shane Gleeson. Cratloe get all the bodies forward. When they come up in numbers. And the ball comes to Podge Collins. And he gets the ball out to Rian Consign. A shot from Rian Consign, but unfortunately the breeze takes that and goes out to the right hand side and gone wide. And, Joe, patience is the key, and Cratloe seem to take the right option more often than not.
They are, yeah. Even Joe Rian Consign was probably entitled to have a shot there. He was in front of the D and just tailed away. As I spoke at start, that breeze could just tail a ball away here and there. Bordeaux had a right go at David Fitz there, and 100% right. Joe, it was a bad ball, but at the same time, if you drop the ball, you have to go back and work harder. And Davy stood up with his hands on his hips. Joe, that's not what Ennistymon are about. They need to get back to the animal work rate that they're normally accounted for.
Yeah, and the ball's with Cathal Malone. In fairness, that's one thing you can't blame Malone up. Malone gives a quick ball across to Sean Ryan. Sean Ryan gets the ball off to Killian Ryan. Ryan making ground. He's going to be chased up by he's going to be pulled by over carrying. I thought he got away with a bit. The ball is out with David Collins to Ogie Murphy. Cratloe get the game going very quick. They have plenty of bodies back. Ogie Murphy taking his team out of the game now. We're gone here. 25 minutes gone here. It's 7 points to 4 in favour of the Cratloe boys. Liam Markham very comfortable on the ball. Markham gives it back to Sean Chaplin. Sean Chaplin going to give it out to Shane Gleeson. Shane Gleeson here in front of the main stand here. Shane Gleeson being tackled up by Michael Lee. He recycles the ball, gets the ball out to O'Hanlon. O'Hanlon gets a fair challenge there from Adam Radcliffe. And in fairness to Adam Radcliffe, he's given it all for. And there's an incident. Joe, did you? I don't think there was anything in that. Did you see it?
I didn't see anything, Leo. I was following the ball. Ennistymon management, unbelievably irate here underneath us. They're going mad with the linesman. No, listen, Adam Ralph is up again now, so I said there was very little in it.
Yeah, indeed, we were looking right down at here, and the ball is with the full forward. The full forward is Sean McConaughey. Is he going to shoot with the outside of his boot and then pushing the back soft free by Dermot Ryan? We say hello to Sean Costello, saying thanks for the coverage. Nigel Carroll, much the same. Martin and James Lee. Michael Lee is overrated, said James. He must be a brother of his, I'd say, without doubt. But looking back on that incident, and maybe in his time, players are just trying to rise their players and they take any inspiration out at this stage.
Yeah, well, listen, Joe, if you're a manager of a team or a selector of a team and something happens in front of you, and even if you don't see it, you're always going to try and back up your own team anyway. So, listen, the boys were always going to get onto the linesman. If anything happened, I don't know. The linesman and Pat Cosgrove now having a good chat. No umpires or anything had their hands up, so it happened right underneath us, but we didn't see anything. So we'll see. Pat is going to his book and he's calling in Colin Hannafin, all right. So we'll see what happens here. Yeah,
it's a taken for definitely for Colin O'Hanlon or Colin O'Hanlon. And indeed a court to brief for Colin O'Hanlon. I didn't think there was much in it. Niall Malone is the Niall Malone is the linesman in charge, and Pat Cosgrove coming over to in his time in manager. I'd say he's going to tell them that they have to stay out of the field. And I tell you, Joe, we have as good a match on the line here now as we have on the field.
Yeah, it's getting heated now. Jerome DeLucre and Joe Quinlan are having a few words here. Pat is coming over to tell the boys calm down. I think the linesman said he got a bit of abuse here. Cullum's blood is rising as well. So listen, it's getting going now, but only a few minutes to half time. Half time couldn't come fast enough maybe for the ref and his linesman.
Yeah, and indeed, Pat taking his time to go back in. He's 7 points to 4. There's no doubt about it. Colm Collins, one of the great competitors, and what a job he's done for Clare football. One of the longest serving managers of all the team managers in national football here in Ireland. And Colm is great to see Colm Collins staying on for at least another year with the Clare football team to consider to keep going and keep developing the Clare team. He's done a tremendous job, and we wish him well again for the year ahead. It's a free for Ennistymon. About 45 metres out from the Cratloe goal, as we said. Pierce Luckery, who's men in the goals at the Townside, and here comes Michael McDonough with the kick, and the ball tails again to the left hand side of the post and gone wide. The score remains 7 points to 4. Indeed, even Joe, a lot of missed chances for Ennistymon. Will they live to rue those missed chances?
Yeah, that was important, that one there. Just coming up to half time, it would have brought him back to within 2 points. It would have settled him another bit. They're pushing up again in the kick up, but they're still going short. That was a bit tight now. That was still inside the D, but they're after getting away with it. But Cratloe just thrive on possession. It's all possession with them, and they're going to work it the whole way up the field now if they get half a chance here.
Yeah, and good play in fairness to Luckery has been, as you said, Joe, has been kicking them sharp for years, and there was really nothing in it. I think Pat is going to give a warning to Sean McConaughey. Indeed, even Pierce Luckery didn't think there was much in it. He gave Sean McConaughey a little pat on the back, and he'd have caught it with soft yellow, Joe.
A very soft yellow, and the problem is now there's 4 or 5 or 6 players even on yellows, and we're going into, Joe, we have another 30 minutes of hard football, and I don't think any team could afford to go down to 14 men on a silly second yellow, but that was definitely a soft yellow, but I'm no doubt there's a couple of more to come.
Yeah, and the ball is with Sean O'Gorman, and Sean O'Gorman is pulled back by Cian Shannon, and indeed the officials are, I tell you, they're rather irate. There's no doubt about that. Pat Cosgrove being the being of some some criticism there from the Ennistymon officials, and I see the Cratloe men moving down towards them there now. Sean Chaplin being pulled back, lazy challenge by David Fitzgerald, quick ball, Cratloe mean business, the ball is out to Markham, out to the experienced Ogie Murphy. What this service this man has given to Cratloe, Ogie Murphy, his father was a brilliant footballer in his day, played Railway Cup for months as well. The ball's with Podge off his left hand side, indeed that's Podge's second point, and that's the score of the game, Joe.
That's a great score, great play by Ogie, great hand pass over in front of Podge from Toronto. I see Adam Ralph is picking up Podge now, or was for that incident anyway, with Sean Rowan dropping off him. But Joe, I just think Cratloe are in total control at the moment. Sean Chaplin is doing a phenomenal job on Sean McGonnelly. I don't think Sean McGonnelly has touched the ball in normal play. Who's like with Joe Dowling out and Joey Wren out, Sean was probably the go-to man or the man they needed to depend on. But Sean Chaplin is doing an absolute top-class man-marking job on him. I don't think he's touched the ball.
No, indeed, and Chaplin, a member of the hurling team as well, and has given another man who has given great service. And Ogie Murphy picked up a bit of an injury there, and Ennistymon, Shane Keane, and Cratloe putting pressure on the Shane Keane kick out yet again. He's going to have to go long. I'd imagine he's going to go for Willie Murphy. Indeed, he looks for Murphy and David Collins, and the ball breaks down, and good play. But here comes Killian Ryan, gets out in front of Michael Hawes. This man is a great burst of pace. Ryan, brilliant footballer. Here comes Killian Ryan. He's going to give the ball back to Malone. 65 metres out, looking for Darrell Keneally, but that avenue is blocked off. And here comes Malone. The gap opens up. He gets away from the midfielder, Damon Ryan. Good shot. The ball came back. And off the post, and it was Shane Gleeson who was alive, and the ball came off the post. And quick play. Indeed, Pat Crosby was going to have another word, and on another occasion, it could have broke for Dave Fitzgerald. It could be in the back of the net, Joe. Easily,
but that's the work rate of Cratloe. Shane Gleeson, who's playing wing forward, was the man that caught that ball on the line. Like, he just worked the whole way back. Something happening here now. I say Dave Fitzgerald's a bit of mountain maybe, and Pat has gone to his notebook again. So, Leo, we could see another card here.
Yeah, indeed, the cards are beginning to mount up for Ennistymon, and whatever about wides and misses, yellow cards can put pressure on a team as well, and you're only a slight mistake away from being out of the game, and the ball comes from Liam Markham back to Pierce Luckery, patience from Pierce. He played around with it there all day, goes short to Sean Chaplin, a foot pass to Liam Markham, Michael Lee takes the challenge, and the ball comes into Markham, gives the ball out to Sean O'Gorman going to make hay up along here, and here comes Sean O'Gorman, gets a great ball to Sean Collins, and here comes the support play from Colin O'Hanlon getting the ball coming down, being pulled back by Michael McDonough, and lazy challenge McDonough, and the ball, and that was a ball, a 50-50 ball, but I think O'Hanlon knew that the free was coming. And indeed, again, another card as Michael McDonough now, another member of the Ennistymon team, going into the referee pack of his number.
Yeah, he was just a tick, but a very lazy challenge, just opted out from working hard. Colin Hannafin wasn't getting that far away from him. Colin Hanlon wasn't getting that far away from him. Should have just kept with him, forced him out to the wing a small bit. A free, difficult enough free now for Colin McInerney. He'll need to judge this right. We're in injury time, so if Cratloe kick this, it gives them a 5-point lead going into half time. But as I said, they're totally on top at the moment. I say Ennistymon can't wait for the half time whistle.
Yeah, indeed, Ennistymon, a lot of us looking for the break at half time. 32.5 minutes gone. It is going to be the last bit of action here in the first half here. Live on Clare JTV, and Colin McInerney with the outside of the boot. He allowed for the breeze, but the ball has gone out to the right hand side and gone wide. McInerney tried to hit it with the outside of the boot, trying to bring it in with the breeze, and Shane Keane with the kick out. Indeed, Pat Cosgrove calls the halt here at half time. 3 minutes of injury time have been played. Cratloe go in on the lead. Cratloe 8 points, Ennistymon 4. Joe, your thoughts at half time?
Yeah, listen, Cratloe will definitely be the happier team after a poor start. They were 3 points down. They've just totally taken over. They're running hard, they're tracking back, they're working for each other, they're getting the ball into the correct shooting area, and they're taking their points. Ennistymon, they need to go back to keeping it wide. They were keeping it wide at the very start, and they were stretching Cratloe. But since Cratloe got back on top, Ennistymon are trying to go up the middle, and they're getting turned over, and they're kicking the ball away, and they're shooting then from further out than what they should be shooting. They're shooting from positions that they normally wouldn't be getting points from. So yeah, they've a lot of chat to do now inside for the next 15 minutes and try and sort out this before it starts going away from them.
And indeed, Joe, Ennistymon, as you said, started off brightly, but 3 points and no score up, and it looked like Cratloe were all at sea until then upset Podge Collins and decided to take a grip on the game. And I suppose him more than anyone has had a major influence here in the first half.
Yeah, listen, he's driving at the defence. He set up points. He scored a couple of points. He's working back. Yeah, I suppose probably not a great idea to upset him. It kind of got him going and kicked him into gear a small bit. I suppose going forward now, fitness is definitely going to come into it. Like, we know our inter-county lads, hurlers and footballers are going to be fit. It's see how fit the rest of the club players are now. It's definitely going to come into it, and also what's going to come into it is the bench. So we need to know, I suppose, how fit Joey Ryan is, how fit Joe Dowling is. Can they contribute? If they can, I think they need to come on sooner rather than later. And then we look at Cratloe. I suppose, listen, we've Killian Fuer there, former Limerick footballer. We've the lads that didn't start, Billy Connors, Conor Cooney, they're the lads that the Cratloe are going to be looking at. So both management teams down here chatting, going to put plans in for the second half.
And indeed, there's no doubt about it. Ennistymon management are having a serious consultation at half time. And I suppose, Joe, looking at it, if Ennistymon are going to make progress, it looks like they're, if there's whatever way fitness Joey Ryan and Joe Dowling are, they'll probably have to be introduced at half time.
Definitely, and now they have the bit of the breeze as well. Like, they're playing one in, they're playing Sean McGonnelly in on his own. It's not working. He hasn't touched the ball. They're going to have to push more men in, and they're going to have to get the ball up to them faster. So with the breeze, they can maybe allow, you can kick from a bit further out and get the ball in, but the lads inside are going to have to work harder and make the runs. So it's going to be interesting for the second half. I thought it'd be higher scoring, to be honest. Both teams kind of did go a small bit defensive, but the other thing is there hasn't been one goal chance created by either team either. So it's really very much just tip for tap getting points, but Cratloe are just ahead in that stakes at the moment. And
indeed, even looking at it in this time, Joe, and coming up to half time there, a lot of their players, seem to be very heavy-legged. There was lazy challenges being put in, not chasing back, where Cratloe seem to be full of running.
Cratloe are full of running, and I say could keep going for another 2 or 3 30-minute periods if they need to. So maybe that's the conversation we're having at the start, Leo. Is it better off going every week and just keep tipping over? Are in this time where they're maybe trying too hard in the last 3 weeks, training hard, trying to keep the fitness up, and maybe the legs are getting a bit heavy now. I don't know. But certainly there seem to be, like, David Fitzgerald is out of the game. Cathal Malone, in fairness, is working awful hard and is trying to do a lot on his own. The half forward line, they're just not working as hard as they normally are. So Sean Rowan has kind of gone out of it since he got the yellow, because he knows he can't tackle anymore. So it's a big half ahead, and Ennistymon, they need to come out and they need to claw back that lead fast, or I can see Cratloe tipping away with this.
And indeed, as you speak about Ennistymon and Cathal Malone, Joe, and in fairness, he's probably the only one really, that's consistently taking the challenge to Cratloe.
100%. He's working back, he's working up, forward. He's taking them on. He's well able to play football. He hasn't pulled out of any tackles, and he's honest. It's just honesty with him at the moment, Joe. So they need a couple of more fellas with the same attitude as him for the second half, because he's not prepared to give up the fight anyway by the looks of things. But he's not giving away silly frees or anything like that. He's working very, very hard.
Yeah, and indeed, you spoke, as you know well, about the shot kick out, and you often would master it yourself. But the Lucre in goals, even though he hasn't got much to do, he's having a big influence in the game as well.
100%. Listen, anyone that knows the football knows that Cratloe wants the ball out fast and out to their players' possession. First 2 went out over the sideline. I wouldn't blame him for the second one, but since then he's been putting the ball down and out within 6 seconds of the ball going dead. So even when they do push up, he's still finding his men outside. So Joe, are Ennistymon have to make a decision now. Are they going to push fully up and make him go long and contest the long kick out, or do they concede the kick out and drop back and try and take it off Cratloe as they're going up the field? I personally think they should push up and force Cratloe to go long, but again, your attitude has to be spot on and your fitness has to be A1 to be able to do that, because if Cratloe get a run, they'll have 3 or 4 fellas running on either side of the ball carrier all the time.
Where in the opposite side of the field, Joe, Cratloe stood off Ennistymon for the first maybe 5 or 10 minutes, but after that, every kick out has been high press. Yeah,
high press. Ennistymon, Shane Keane is a massive kick out, but they're struggling. He's getting the distance, but Cratloe seems to be picking up the breaks. There hadn't been too many marks made in the game, or there's no real exhibition of high fielding or anything like that. But I think Ennistymon need to kind of sort out their own. To be harder now, or not to be. He'll even have longer now in this kick out this side with the breeze. So should he maybe fill in the half forward line and go as long as he can and just kind of work on the scrapes and the breaks and see how they get on there? I don't know, but Cratloe are going full press. The thing about going full press, if Shane Keane can go 60, 65 yards and Ennistymon win it, they have a chance going forward. But if Ennistymon goes short and Cratloe get their work rate up, you have to beat the whole lot of them then to get the ball up the field to get in the scoring position. So I think they maybe need to go looking at going long and maybe working on the breaks and moving the ball fast that way.
And would you see Ennistymon make any other positional switches, Joe? I see Kevin Herr, another dual player, He's gone in. He's been called in by the management, so it looks like that Kevin Heher is going to make an appearance at half time, and he's an accomplished footballer also.
Yeah, I don't know, was he carrying an injury or just maybe he hasn't been training as much. Kevin Heher is a fine footballer, a great engine, good head. So I don't know who he'll come in for, but I imagine he'll get him in fast. Joe, I don't know, like Lawrence, lad, a great player and great servant. I don't know, is he going to shore it up anymore inside? The boys seem to be, like Sean O'Driscoll and them, they're having a good old battle inside. I think the problem isn't in the full back line in Ennistymon. I think it's more out around the middle here that they're losing the ball too much, and then Cratloe are running with it with runners either side. So I think the full back line in Ennistymon are doing their fair share and are battling away. Like Sean O'Driscoll's put in some hits there and some tackles. I wouldn't really know any else at Ennistymon if 40 fellas togged out here. I wouldn't really know. Like Michael Hoolan, there's probably 20 minutes in him. I see Killian Malone there, former Kilfenora player. Like, I don't know, he hasn't played any football with Ennistymon yet, championship football with Ennistymon this year. Is he in their plans? I don't know. He's well able to kick the ball over the bar if he gets space, but would he work as hard for it? Probably not. So I don't know. Whereas I think Cratloe just have looking at their bench, like if Conor Cooney, his work is going to be high. Billy Connors, class act. Killian Fuer, again, fella can kick the ball left and right. So they're the fellas I see going to be introduced for Cratloe during the course of the second half, and they'll have a big say in it. Yes. Joe,
as we're here at half time here, and the score for people who may have joined us late is Cratloe 8 points in Ennistymon 4. The new proposal has been proposed by the GA at the moment, Joe, and I know you throw your eyes up to heaven at it, but this two-tier competition, Joe, it seems to be opinion very much divided. But what's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, listen, Leo, I suppose. I won't deny that there's a gap between the top, I suppose, 4 or 5 teams. I wouldn't even call, there was teams in the Super 8 this year that struggled, so there definitely is a gap. And there definitely is some teams that never win a qualifier and are always struggling. But like, if you're asking me as a former player, I suppose, like as a player, it happened to us in 2008, I think it was. The Tommy Murphy Cup was in, and if you didn't, all Division 4 teams, unless they got to a provincial final, didn't play qualifier, they played Tommy Murphy Cup. And I can tell you straight out, we didn't get to provincial final. Kerry beat us down in Clare, obviously. We had absolutely little or no interest in it. Zero. I say there wasn't bodies training. Fellas were putting more, going back to the club and giving more back to the club, and just had no interest in winning Tommy Murphy Cup. And I'd be afraid of the same thing happening here. I genuinely would. I'd be afraid of a lot more of our players heading off to the States. I'm talking about from the Division 3 and Division 4 teams. I'd be afraid of that. I'd be afraid of just the interest levels not being there. I'd be afraid of the league then turning around. The league is important, and of course it's important for some teams, but it'll turn into the be all and end all for some teams. And if they don't if Division 3 teams don't get promoted, I could see him just same attitude and going forward for championship. Now the other side of it is, Leo, I don't have the answer either. If I was a player now and I was a Division 3 or Division 4 team, I wouldn't be happy with not. Everyone should get a chance to play in the All-Ireland qualifiers. So unless there's a way that you get to play in the qualifiers and maybe even get one round in the qualifiers, play the first round, and if you lose that first round, then you go into Tier 2. Well, then no one can complain. You had your crack in a first round qualifier. You had your crack to make strides and maybe make a name for yourself, but I just think the way it is at the moment, I think teams are getting no choice here. So it'd be interesting to see how the vote goes.
Joe, we're going to give you a break now, and indeed, as the teams are coming back out, we're going to have a quick, which your father Seamus says. Seamus, your thoughts here on the first half as Cratloe dominant 8 points to 4.
I think we've seen the experience work out there today. In the first 10 minutes in this time, we were very much the team that were running the show, dictating, went 3 points up. Cratloe were studying the situation really, and they've dominated the last 15 minutes and kicked some great points. And in this time, they're beginning to maybe panic a small bit. Like they were defending in big numbers in the first 10 minutes. They had 9-10 men behind the ball a lot of the time, but Cratloe were just playing it cool. The vast experience they've gathered over the last 7 or 8 years was very much in evidence, and I think they're in the advantage situation right now.
And there's no doubt about it that Colin Collins and the boys studied it hard, and next thing they went from standing back to as Joe said, going full press on with the kickouts.
That's right, they've gone full press on with the kickouts, and they have controlled and won most of them, their own kickouts. Pierce the Lockery is going short with most of them, finding a man, and then they're attacking in numbers, and they're forcing Ennistymon to go along, and they're picking up the break from the kick out, and going forward, Podge Collins is on the ball there. He's finding men, he's finding his teammates handy, and they're creating opportunities, either frees or scoring opportunities, and they're taking them. They're in a good situation, 4 points up. I know it's a long way to go yet, but they're the team with the experience, and they have the cool heads. And you'd expect them to
push on. And as you said, Seamus, Podge Collins probably the Director General here in the first half.
Correct. He's dictating affairs up there, and he's bringing all the players around him into it. And you see Liam Markham coming up the field and kicking a good point. And as the game wore on, Cathal McInerney is beginning to, have a big influence on the thing. Conor McGrath, when you see Conor McGrath move, he rarely wastes the ball. He'd always find a man and create an opening.
Yeah, indeed, Seamus. We'll talk to you again at full time as both teams are out on the field here for the second half. As we said, Kevin Heher is into his time and half backline, and it will remain to be seen who's gone off with discharge. We'll have a quick flick through. It looks like is it Tiernan Hogan is gone off the Ennistymon team. Indeed, Kevin Heher is definitely in. And Pat Cosgrove will rejoin here for the start of the second half, and the ball is in the middle of the field. In the middle of the field, the ball is with Colin O'Hanlon. O'Hanlon, who had a very good first half, gets away from Adam Ralph, and here comes O'Hanlon. O'Hanlon breaking through, gone into the 21. A shot from O'Hanlon, and what a start for Cratloe. Definitely, Joe, Ennistymon need to get the first score, but O'Hanlon went through the Ennistymon defence at ease and popped it over the bar.
Yeah, he just powered through it. Shrugged off a few tackles, kept the head down, and absolutely belted it over the bar. So now Cratloe are in total control again, straight away. And
the score, 9 points for Cratloe, 4 points for Ennistymon. Shane Keane is a long way from the goals, and the ball is over with Darragh Conneely. Conneely gives the ball out to Murphy. Ennistymon are going to want more hard work out of Murphy here in the second half as he crosses into the Cratloe half of the field. Tries to take on Sean Collins. Pops the ball off to Michael McDonough. McDonough has been relatively quiet here in the first half, but he's on the ball here in second. Gives the ball out to Heher. Here comes Heher. What an introduction from Heher. And there's an inspired substitution from the Ennistymon management. Kevin Heher, first time in the ball over the bar.
Yeah, great run by Michael McDonough through the middle. One pass took out Sean Collins. He ran till Kevin Heher got up on his shoulder. One quick pop to Kevin Heher, took a sidestep and belted it over the bar. So, no, maybe Ennistymon aren't finished yet.
Indeed, a score that Ennistymon needed, and what a kick out from the Lockery, out to the middle of the field. Ball broken down by James Ryan to Podge Collins. Podge picks up the break, and here comes Ryan. Ryan has been running, being followed by Adam Ralph. Here comes David Ryan. David Ryan loses the ball. He just kicks it into space. The ball goes into Sean O'Driscoll, and a push on the back there by Conor McGrath. 9 points to 5, 1.5 minutes gone. A quick free out from O'Driscoll out to Killian Ryan. And here Ennistymon defence, purging on men to push forward. Here comes Ryan, going to give it to Murphy. Murphy cuts in on the diagonal run, being chased up by David Collins, and the ball well robbed by O'Hanlon. Great play by O'Hanlon. Gives it all out to Liam Markham, and the ball gets away. He gets away from Michael McDonough. Gives it out to the hard working Podge Collins. Podge, lovely foot pass and Podge into Dermot Ryan. Here comes Dermot Ryan angles the ball across, looking for Cathal McInerney. McInerney being marked now by Inda Ralph. Cathal McInerney over in the left right corner forward position over in front of the stand side, and a pass there from McInerney, intercepted by Kevin Heher to Michael Lee. He gives it out to Ruwine is going to give it to Malone. His first touch of the ball here in the second half, going to take on Colin O'Hanlon. Here comes Malone looking for the runner. He's going to give the ball. He's still moving forward. Here comes Malone, being let go, gives it out to Heher. Here comes Kevin Heher. Is Kevin Heher going to have another shot? Trying to get away from Gleeson, gives it back to Malone going back out the field, looking for support, and here comes Malone. A shot from Cathal Malone. Indeed, that's a tremendous score from Ennistymon's best player, Cathal Malone.
Yeah, great score. Cathal Malone has been Ennistymon's best player. I thought it done too much. I thought it carried it into too many bodies there, but he swiveled around and he just got put the head down and drilled it over the bar.
9 points to 6 in favour of Cratloe. The last two scores have come from Kevin Heher and Cathal Malone. And a kick out from Pearce, and he's intercepted by David Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald gives it into McConaughey. Here comes McConaughey. A shot from McConaughey into and a pull down. And definitely, if there's a game changer, Joe, and I say Sean Chaplin in a bit of bother here.
Yeah, listen, Dave Fitzgerald intercepted Pearce's kick out. Sean McGonnelly got on it. In fairness to Sean McGonnelly, it was a shooting opportunity. He went for the killer pass and he got it. It was a great pass. And black card, Sean Chaplin is gone. And that's a huge blow to Cratloe because Sean Chaplin has done a phenomenal job on Sean McGonnelly in the first half. And now he's gone off black card.
And indeed, I suppose, Joe, as a defender, he had little or no option.
Yeah, listen, he probably didn't. Even though Pierce will always tell you that he probably would have saved it. But no, listen, I think it was more instinct than anything. I think the ball went over his head, he turned and put his hand in and just caught him around the neck. So Conor Cooney now looks to be coming on. So Cratloe now we're going to have to rejig because I certainly Conor Cooney won't be going back full back.
No, Cooney predominantly, he plays in the backs in the hurling for his club, O'Connell's Mills, but definitely plays in the forwards around midfield or the forwards for Cratloe. And indeed, Michael McDonough down injured but receiving attention, and is a penalty. Could this be an equaliser? It's 9 points to 6 in favour of Cratloe. Pierce Lukey doing a run around inside there, trying to stretch the legs. But what a killer pass from McConaughey. And I suppose Stephen O'Brien from Kerry was in a similar position last Sunday and didn't pass the ball across to Gainey. But in fairness to McConaughey, well spotted. Yeah,
no, it was a great spot. He went for the juggler. He knew that maybe a pint wasn't going to be the case. Sean McGonnelly's a very good penalty taker. He's a soccer player, plays for Sporting in his time, I think. He's put a few penalties past me down through the years. He's a very good penalty taker, but the fella inside in goals is probably one of the best shot stoppers in Clare at the moment. So it's going to be an intriguing battle here.
Indeed, one of the best kickers of a ball, as Joe says, again, one of the best shot stoppers. Who's going to win the battle of wills? The Lucre is staying on his line, and here comes McConaughey. McConaughey, as he said, Joe said, puts him away for Sporting in his time as well. A shot, and indeed, a good save by the Lucre, but indeed, a poor penalty from Sean McConaughey, Joe. But we have to give credit to the goalkeeper.
Great save. Stood as long as he could. Full stretch to the right, touched it out for 45. Joe, if Ennistymon don't come away with a point out of this now, it's a huge plus for Cratloe. Interestingly, I saw Sean McGonnelly take 2 penalties in the warm-up and he put him to the other side. So he changed sides. Whether this was his normal side, I don't know. But a great save by Pierce.
Yeah, and indeed, in fairness, I suppose the key, Joe, as you know from the goalkeeper, was the Lucre. He kept himself big for as long as possible.
Yeah, listen, some goalies take a guess and they go early, and if they save him, they're heroes. But if it goes the other way, you look like a bit of an idiot. But no, Pierce stood up as long as he could, and I suppose maybe the lack of power then helped him. But it was a great full stretch save. And indeed, that quick free has been intercepted by Cratloe, and Cratloe on the attack, and a great body swivel there by Cathal McInerney. Is the ball going to defeat him? He uses his bit of soccer skills there as the ball is out with Keneally. Keneally gives it to Killian Ryan. As Joe said, no score accruing for Ennistymon from the penalty or from the resultant 45. And here comes Killian Ryan. And I look at Conor Hanlon giving years to Ryan, but he doesn't try to go. The ball is with McInerney, and the ball comes out to Shane Gleeson. And quick play from Damon Ryan. Cratloe mean business. The ball is out now with Rian Constantine. Rian Constantine gets the ball out to Conor McGrath. We haven't seen much of Conor McGrath, but I tell you, he makes a lot of runs and takes the defender out to play. Here comes Constantine trying to get away from Kevin Heher. Good defensive play by Heher. The ball is out and is robbed by Adam Ralph. And here comes Ennistymon on the charge again. Adam Ralph trying to get around the challenger Conor McGrath, looking for Michael Lee, but he's not coming out as quick for Ennistymon, but he gives it to Sean Ryan. Sean Ryan won't be found wanting to coming out, gives it out to the centre back. He's in the Ralph, gives it out to Michael Lee coming across the middle of the field, but looking for support, very little support there, looking for Cathal Noah, but instead goes back to Tara Keneally. Ennistymon trying to keep it wide. Liam Markham seems to pull up with a bit of an injury there, looking for attention, and he's picking Michael McDonough. The ball is out with Ryan looking for the runners. He tries to get away from David Collins, but he gives it to Cathal Malone. The sharp pass to Cathal Malone. Here comes Malone, being stirred up now by Damon Ryan. Dave Fitzgerald makes one, but here comes Malone. He's gone through the middle. Here comes Cathal Malone, being chased by Damon Ryan. Ryan doesn't give up the goal. A shot from Cathal Malone. Indeed, a tremendous score. A 2-point game, Joe. Another great score from the boot of Cathal Malone. Cathal Malone has been outstanding. It's not that any of the Cratloe midfielders have been poor either, but Cathal Malone has just taken this game by the scruff of the neck. Joe, he's decided now, if this is it's quarter-final stage, we can't no messing. He's going for this, like.
And indeed, Joe, even in the first half, when a lot of Ennistymon players were going poor, he was the one man showing leadership.
Yeah, he showed leadership throughout the whole game. He's a phenomenal engine. They're struggling to contain him. He's so powerful. They're struggling to contain his direct running. So they need to get him more on the ball. And in fairness, like David Fitzgerald needs to help him. because Dave Fitzgerald has the same goal chance here for Cratloe, is it? No.
And here's the ball up with Sean O'Gorman. Sean O'Gorman, predominantly a cornerback and maybe not so used to playing the forwards in the football. What a pick up from Collins. A shot from Podge Collins, and that's a tremendous replay from Podge Collins. Cratloe walked the ball up the field. Sean O'Gorman made a lung bursting run up the field, dropped the ball. But what a pick up from Podge Collins, and a great finish, Joe.
Great bit of skill. That'll kill Ennistymon, because they had Sean O'Gorman turned over and they spilt the ball out, and Podge just flicked it up onto the right and kicked it off the left end straight over the bar. But Ennistymon, they need to work a small bit harder. Colin Malone can't do it all on his own. Adam Ralph and these fellas need to realise that there's only 20 minutes left in this game, and if they don't pick it up, they're going to be out of the championship.
And it goes from one Ralph to the other. It goes from Inda to Adam. And here comes Adam crossing midfield, being chased by Diarmuid Ryan and being robbed by Diarmuid Ryan. And Michael, high challenge by Michael McDonough. Advantage being played by referee Pat Cosgrove. And here comes Podge, and he's Podge going to give it to Cahill. Gives it to Cahill McInerney. They do it in the hurling. They do it every second week. They're well known. They know one another's runs. A lazy challenge there by Willie Murphy on Podge Collins. And indeed, Joe, it just echoes what you said a moment ago. Is Ennistymon don't get their attitude right and work that bit harder, they're going to be in big trouble here, Joe.
Yeah, you just look at the teams. When Cratloe lose the ball, whether they lose it by a silly pass or drop it, they don't dwell on it. They turn around and they just sprint back and they try and fight for it back. When Ennistymon lose the ball like they did there a few minutes ago, their kind of hands are up in the air and they're kind of giving out to each other. If you lose the ball, and it happens in football, you just need to turn around and sprint back and fight harder to get it back again. But at the moment, that's what's probably pushing Cratloe a small bit ahead. Difficult free now again. Sean Collins might be a small bit outside the range against the breeze, but he's going to have a pop it in there.
Yeah, indeed, Sean, about 40 metres out from the Ennistymon goal. Indeed, from that last challenge, Michael McDonough picked up a quarter-way for Ennistymon. Here comes Collins, tries to curl it in, but the wind doesn't go in his favour. Never really threatened the goal, goes out to the left-hand side and goes wide. The score remains here, 10 minutes gone in the second half of the first of the Senior Football Championship quarter-finals in the race for the Jack Daly trophies. Cratloe 10 points, Ennistymon 7. Shane Keane goes with the kick out. He gives it to Short. He's intercepted by Diarmuid Ryan. Diarmuid Ryan, a shot from Diarmuid Ryan over the bar from Diarmuid Ryan. Again, the high press on Shane Keane. And indeed, in fairness, Joe, as you know in goals, if the players don't make a run for you, there's not an awful lot you can do. Exactly,
listen, Cratloe are just so, they're high press, they're full press. The kick out has to be on the money, the runs have to be on the money. It wasn't that stage, and Diarmuid Ryan kicked it over the bar, so the lead has been stretched now again. But just, it seems to be that penalty is taken, it's lifted Cratloe and taken the wind out of Ennistymon, but they're under attack here now again.
And the ball is with Sean Ryan, being chased down by Conor Cooney. Sean Ryan gives the ball to McConaughey. Can McConaughey atone for his penalty? He gives the ball out to the foot of Michael Lee. And Michael Lee, the ball comes back off the post to Michael McDonough. But it's the pace of Cratloe. What a pick by Ogie Murphy. Turning back the talk. He's back to one of his younger days with the sprint out with that ball. Ogie Murphy calms the situation, goes down to Markham. Sean Collins. Oh, and I tell you, there was a funny challenge inside there by Michael Hawes, a professional foul as we call it, that he got away with as he pulled back McConaughey, Joe, and that could have been another important moment.
He definitely got away with it there, because Sean Collins left a pass back to Pearce under hit. Michael Hawes had to, because if he didn't, McConaughey was in on Pearce, but he got away with it, a little tug. But maybe McConaughey threw himself to the ground a bit easy as well, looking for it, and maybe Pat Cosgrove saw that. So.
And the ball is up with David Collins. I see Sean O'Driscoll. And I tell you, they're Ennistymon officials and players are rather irate. And it's a second yellow card. Is it for Sean? Is it Sean O'Driscoll? Michael McDonough number. Or is it? Yes, indeed, it is Michael McDonough. A lazy challenge. But indeed, there was an instant before that off the ball, Joe, that the full-back O'Driscoll went to ground. And I see the umpires are talking to another above behind the goals. But McDonough, and that's not what Ennistymon, that's just lazy and not what they wanted.
Leo, I feel from there, David Collins soloed the ball, it went a bit high. Michael McDonough, he might have collided with Collins' head, but he got the ball there. I don't know, I think maybe if Pat had actually play on there, I wouldn't have been arguing. I thought it was a decent enough tackle. Ennistymon now are down to 14 men, an absolute mammoth task ahead of him.
And indeed, that free has been brought in for descent. And McInerney, he's gone for the goal and he has stuck it into the back of the net. And you often heard of a double whammy, Joe, but that's a triple whammy. A man being sent off, descent, ball being brought in, and McInerney had the audacity to go for goal. Now, he's a trusty left boot, stuck the ball into the corner, but that's really punishing Ennistymon, Joe.
Yeah, listen, only like Colin McInerney is absolutely forward thinking. Saw the opportunity took it. Cullum keeping the standards high here. They're a good bit up, and he's eating his own son for a wild shot. But listen, Colin McInerney, he's doing it with cheers. It was a class finish. Great stuff from Cratloe.
Yeah, indeed, Cratloe 1 goal and 7. 1 goal and 11, Gamalech scale. That's 14 points. It's double scores in his time in our 7. And such is the perfection that Cullum Connors look for. As Joe said, his own son Podge, who has been instrumental in bringing Cratloe into where they are, took a shot on goal and went out wide. Now he didn't threaten the goals, but he asked him to. He was giving on. He wanted more effort recycling. Here's the one man for an assignment that can bring him into the game. It's Cathal Malone. Cathal Malone giving the ball to Ruane. In fairness, Ruane has tried hard also. He gets away from the challenge of O'Hanlon. Here comes Killian Ruane. They're going to need a lot more of that. And good play by Ruane. And the ball is with Dave Fitzgerald, but it's being taken from the wrong position. And indeed, the Ennistymon officials are rather frustrated and irate. But in that, you have to give credit to Cratloe. You know, they've really taken the sting out of this Ennistymon challenge.
Yeah, Cratloe, they're just using all their experience here, and some of their lesser men, some of their lesser names, I suppose, have been outstanding. Like Conal O'Hanlon has been absolutely outstanding. He's working so hard there in the middle of the field. I don't know if there's much left in the legs, but he's getting the grips. He's definitely got the grips with Dave Fitzgerald, yeah. But even though Gleeson's picking him up now, but Ennistymon, they need to maybe get a goal in the next couple of minutes for this game not to peter out. And
the ball is with Willie Murphy. In a shot. Oh, and a marvellous save again from off the hands of the Lucre. And definitely concentration as in goal, Joe. You mightn't get much to do. He's made a brilliant penalty save. He hasn't had much to do. His kick outs have been on the money, but concentration, the name of the game, and another good save there from Pierce the Lucre.
No, that was a great save because he saw it late. I suppose he should be maybe disappointed with his defenders for letting the shot go through so many bodies. But no, that was a very good save by Pierce. Joe, he's not going to be happy till he comes out of here with a clean sheet.
Yeah. Indeed, and every goalie wants a clean sheet. The ball is out with Adam Ralph. Adam Ralph gives it to Heher. In fairness, Heher has improved things since he came on for Ennistymon. But the run is up. But the ball is being run. The run is being made by Fitzgerald. Here comes Fitzgerald being stood up there by Sean O'Gorman. And the ball goes off the hands of Sean O'Gorman out over for a 45. The score, as we're midway through the second half here of the senior championship game, and as easy as Michael O'Loughlin is going to come on for Ennistymon, it's Cratloe 1 goal and 11. Ennistymon 7 points, a 45, and the ball is kicked back to Sean O'Driscoll, the team captain. O'Driscoll trying to make a run through, gives the ball back out to Ralph, and a shot from Ralph, and Ralph over the bar. Just what Ennistymon needed, but they need plenty more of them, Joe.
Yeah, listen, they need a couple of more scores. Joe, it's halfway in the second half now. There's still 15 minutes left. Listen, you'd imagine there's still time, but for them to win now, they have to really kick on, and they have to stop conceding here at the other end. But I don't think they're going to hold Cratloe to no more scores from here on in.
Yeah, and indeed, Sean Ruane is departing the scene here in Cusick Park. His day's run as Micheál O'Loughlin comes on, and again Cratloe with the shot kick out from Pierce Lucre out to Sean O'Gorman, to this man Ogie Murphy. He sets up an awful lot, and here Malcolm is always available for the run. He tries to beat Killian Ruane in the fist pass. Great ball into space from Malcolm into Sean or David Collins. David Collins going to look for McInerney. McInerney going to shoot off his left foot with that cultural left foot. McInerney, good play by Keane, but Rian Constantine was alive to the situation, looking for the flick down, but good goalkeeping by Shane Keane. Got the ball down to Conneely. Conneely gives the ball out to Michael O'Loughlin, who gives it to Kevin Heher. Kevin Heher for Ennistymon coming across him into the middle of the field now. Looking, he's been battled up there by Conor McGrath. Heher gives the ball back to Adam Ralph. Here comes Adam Ralph. Adam Ralph for Ennistymon. They have 15 minutes to keep themselves in the senior football championship in the race for Jack Daly. Gets the ball out to Willie Murphy. And Willie Murphy being held up by Sean Collins and Liam Markham. And there come the challenges again. The ball comes out to Cian Shannon. Cian Shannon being chased by David Collins. And the ball into the safe hands of the Lucre. And the Lucre out to Conor Cooney. And Conor Cooney, I see Willie Murphy down his haunches there. He's put in a tremendous effort. Fitness levels maybe in his time and being tested here. Ogie Murphy, Cratloe full of running. Sean O'Gorman full of running. Here comes the two O'Callaghan's Mills boys. O'Gorman to Cooney. Cooney gets the ball off from Sean O'Driscoll. Pops the ball off to Dermot Ryan. Going to pop the ball off back out to McGrath. McGrath now out around 60 metres out from Ennistymon goal. Crossing in now 40, now 30. Trying to take on Sean O'Driscoll. Gets away from Sean O'Driscoll. And a shot from Conor McGrath. But the finish, Joe, didn't match the build up. No,
listen, Conor could probably brought it in another couple of yards and just tapped it over handy, but just went off the side of his boot and didn't curl at all sufficiently. And Ennistymon now they're under pressure. There's a few bodies down, their heads are down. There's a few heavy legs. it's creeping away from him, Leo. But like as I said, there's still plenty of time. But they really, really need to kind of come together and realise that if they don't, their championship is over.
Yeah, and indeed it is the centre back in the right, who's now back in the full back line, Markin Cahill McInerney, who's gone down injured. And I see Joe Dowling is down there. I think he's getting ready to come in his bed. He's gone through a strenuous stretch, and you'd wonder, Joe, I know if a player is injured, you'd wonder if a player of Joe Dowling's experience, I know hindsight is a great thing, but you'd imagine in a top class game maybe would it be better off starting him maybe?
Yeah, I suppose, listen, that's the decision the manager and the selectors have to make. If you start him, could he collapse after a few minutes and be gone, or could he get away with it? Listen, he must be badly injured, Leo, because I'm surprised he's not in at this stage. He would just negotiate so many things inside the full forward line. He'd win frees, he'd get shots off, he'd demand serious attitude from everyone around him, and I presume he's going to come on now in a few minutes.
And indeed, it looks like Lawrence Healy is coming on in place of in the Ralph, and it looks like Willie Murphy's day is run also, and his 19 is David McNamara is on instead. Is in for his time. So Lawrence Healy, a man who was injured coming into the game, and he hasn't been injured. So David McNamara is in. Also, it looks like Killian Fair is in for Cratloe, and Rian Conson has gone off. And indeed, Joe, this man isn't going to weaken the Cratloe forward line either. No, listen, if this man gets half a yard, he'll swing it over if he's in the shooting zone. So they can't. I'd maybe suggest Lala pick him up. The two boys are probably well into their 30s. They might match each other for speed or lack of speed maybe, but no, they can't let him free. Interestingly, Lala is picking him up, so they're going to finish the game on each other. Two warriors, I suppose. Yeah, two warriors, two great servants of the game, and the ball breaks down to Derek Conneely. Conor Cooney in for O'Callaghan's, but a lovely chip pass back from Conor McGrath back to Podge. Podge taking the heat out of the situation, gets away from Michael Lee, and a lazy challenge by Michael Lee, a tired lazy challenge. And even at this stage, I know, Joe, that Ennistymon will be looking for a burst of energy, but it seems that the legs seem to be just gone. Yeah, the legs seem to be gone. A bit of ill discipline as well. Podge was facing his own goal. He wasn't going anywhere. They're after getting a free kick now to move it forward. Michael Lee's gone into the book now, a tick. They don't, and the last thing they can afford now is any of the boys on yellow is getting another yellow and going down to 13 men. So they just need to forget about that stuff and try and concentrate in football for the next 10 minutes and see can they just drag themselves back into the game. And the ball is with Markham, and the pace and energy is coming from the men from Cratloe, and the ball is back with Podge Collins. Podge Collins, 45 metres out. Lovely pop pass to Liam Markham. Liam Markham tempting to shoot, gets a lovely pop pass into Ryan. It's Cratloe who are making all the runs, and Dermot Ryan blazes that one over the bar. 1 goal and 12 for Cratloe. 8 points are in this time, and Ryan is a formidable midfielder. 2 points, Joe. Yeah, listen, it was a great move. The lads had it in the corner. Sean Collins, Conor McGrath, they worked it well, and Dermot Ryan just coasted onto a pass. Ennistymon, or the body language now is seriously kind of on the ground. They probably need a goal, but to get that goal, then they're going to have to work it up the field and get into a shooting position. And the ball is with David McNamara. McNamara the sub on. Back to Darragh Conneely. Ennistymon are on their own 65 metre line. Gives it to Cathal Malone. Ennistymon we want Malone further up the field. Here comes Cathal Malone now crossing the Cratloe 65. In fairness, one man that can be absolved of any blame today is Cathal Malone. And he's taken the challenge to Cratloe, but he's robbed in this occasion by... and the body's they're not making the runs for him. And here comes Conor Cooney, he'll be looking for a starting place the next day. Here comes Cooney, giving the ball off to Dermot Ryan. Dermot Ryan gives it out to Killian Fair, back to Cooney. These men will work hard for you. Back out to Killian Fair, looking for Conor McGrath. McGrath now out using his expertise out around the middle of the field to bring this Cratloe challenge over. Back to Fair, back to Podge Collins, and the run has been made by Sean Collins. And Adam Ralph came in to take a challenge, but the ball comes out to Ryan, and Ryan off his right foot, a shot from Dermot Ryan straight over the bar. 1-13 for Cratloe, 8 points. In fairness, Joe, that's top class football. Yeah, listen, it was Podge gave a dodgy enough ball to Sean, but listen, Sean won't like me for taking this, but he's a strong lad and he's stocky build, came into play there. He took the challenge well, straight into Dermot Ryan, outside of the boot, over the bar. Dermot Ryan is 3 points kicked. Cratloe totally control, and can ease up now if they want to say with the hurling next week. I can't see Ennistymon making any burst here at all. Joe Dowling's in. Yeah, Joe Dowling is in for Ennistymon. I'm not sure who has gone off as of yet. Indeed, he's Michael Day, and the race for Michael Day is running. Michael had a lazy challenge the last time, picked up a card, so his race is run. Shakes hands with the manager, Mark Shedd. In fairness to Lee, he walked up and hard down the far side. Shane Keane with the kick out, and the ball comes out to David McNamara. McNamara gets the ball off, and here come Ennistymon looking with the ball. He's out with Killian Ryan. In fairness to Ryan, he's been well marked, but he's a tremendous footballer. And there's the work rate of Conor McGrath, chasing back 70 yards back after him. McGrath, and the ball comes back out. The ball comes out to Keane Shannon. Here comes Shannon, recycles the ball to Cathal Malone. Malone for Ennistymon, being marked up, being faced by O'Hanlon. O'Hanlon looks like a tired man now, but Cooney comes in to add his expertise to the challenge. Back out to Killian Ryan. And the ball from Keelan Ryan, he's going to go in and top from McConaughey tries to keep the ball in play, but Mogi Murphy uses all his experience, just shields the ball out, and the ball goes out to the right hand side and gone wide, and the score remains here from Cusick Park. Cratloe 1 goal and 13 in his Ennistymon 8 points, and a quick kick out from the Lucre. Gets the ball out to Shane Gleeson. Shane Gleeson being chased by Joe Dowling, and Joe Dowling, for a man that was injured at the beginning of the game, has a lot of running done since he came on in the number of minutes. And here comes this where the extra man is killing. Sean Collins gives it out to Markham, and there's 2 or 3 Cratloe lads making runs, and the heads of Ennistymon, their shoulders are down as they're trying to make up the ground. But the ball comes to McCure and Podge Collins waiting for the runner. And here comes Podge. Pops the ball off to Liam Markham above now in a corner forward position, and he keeps the ball in play. Takes his time, tips the ball up, and recycles the ball back out to Dermot Ryan, who has 3 tremendous points got. Back out to Podge Collins, out to McInerney, whose goal from that 21-metre free. Backs out to Sean O'Gorman, gives it out to Podge. Cratloe just really playing down the clock here. 24 going on 25 minutes gone here. The ball is with Conor Cooney. Conor Cooney takes a challenge from a sort of a challenge from David Fitzgerald and gets the ball in to Shane Gleeson. Is Gleeson going to shoot off his left? Indeed, Gleeson shoots off his left, but the ball goes out to the right hand side and got wide. Indeed, Joe, there's no doubt about it, the flame has gone out of Ennistymon challenge.
100% gone out of it. It looks like they're only waiting for the final whistle to be run, to be blown. Cratloe are still keeping their standards up. Like, you know, the last ball that went wide there, Pierce still picked up the ball, sprinted out, put it down, so I'm getting this out as fast as I can. Look at the work rate. We're watching him here. Look at him. Killian Fair running back. Look at Shane Gleeson running back. Dermot Ryan tackle, and off they go again. Here go Cratloe again, and they have bodies. They have plus bodies here now.
Yeah, indeed, plenty of space for Liam Markham, and Ryan doesn't sit in his resting his laurels. He's gone up to support Liam Markham. Is he going to give it back to Podge? Liam Markham going to cut through. Here comes Liam Markham. Oh, of all the choices, and Colm Collins rather irate with that one. Of all the decisions Liam Markham could have made, he definitely made the wrong one there, Joe.
Yeah, he could have passed it to Dermot Ryan. He could have passed it back to Podge. He could have kicked it across to Conor McGrath, and the only thing he shouldn't have done is what he did.
And there we have a score from the Kilkee Liscannor match. It's Kilkee at half time. Kilkee 1 goal and 8. Liscannor 1 goal and 3. With wind to come for Liscannor in the second half. The kick out from Shane Keane gets it out there to Adam Ralph. Here comes Adam Ralph. Gets it out to Heher. In fairness, Heher has been one of Ennistymon better players here in the second half. Here comes Heher, being challenged by Conor Cooney. Heher already has a pint cut playing around, but there's no support play for him. He's going to be marked down by Liam Markham. Here comes Joe Dowling. What a servant this man has been to Ennistymon football, and pity more lads wouldn't take a leaf out of his book. And here comes Joe getting the ball back to Keane Shannon. The runs are just not being made by Ennistymon. Here comes Keane Shannon, gets through the middle, gets away from Sean Collins. A shot from Keane Shannon. He gets the free in. But indeed, Joe, even I know there's tired bodies out there, but there's, you know, when you're in the dying moments of a championship match and you could be going out, you'd imagine someone would make the run, but no one made a run there for him at all.
Oh, Kevin Hare was caught there with 3 men around him. Eventually, Joe Dowling came out to give him a hand. Joe worked a good move, and Tiernan Shannon then got a shot off but was fouled. So, listen, they're not going to score a goal from here. I'd be very surprised. He's better off just kicking it over and trying to get the ball back in play as fast as they can. They're wasting their own time here.
Yeah, indeed, there's a committee meeting up there, and I see David Fitzgerald calling players to come forward, because there's 5 of them there's 5 of them lined across the 45-metre line, and here comes Joe Nanchley. Oh my God, he kicks it in, and that just sums up the day for Ennistymon. When a player like Joe Dowling, you know, who you would expect to put it over with ease, and he just didn't. It merely, it was a challenge for the ball to reach the hands of Pierce the Lucre, and the ball comes out with Conor Cooney, and Conor keeps the ball in play. Here come Cratloe, recycles the ball out to Shane Gleeson, and Sean Collins making a run, but Gleeson is going to go along with the left boot. A high ball in looking for McInerney, and McInerney didn't even challenge for it, and the ball drops down to him, and McInerney shoots off the left foot straight over the bar. And Joe went his going right. McInerney didn't even challenge for that ball, and the ball still broke down for him.
It was an awful ball in by Shane, and Cahill just kind of put up his hand but waited for it to break down to him over the bar. But again, as you said, between the penalty being missed and Joe's missing that free there, it's just Ennistymon are not having a good day at office. But Cratloe's work rate has been absolutely top class.
And the ball from Lawrence Healy gets up to Cian Shannon. In fairness, this man has tried hard. Shannon, he's going to get the ball into David McNamara. McNamara has been held up by 3 or 4 Cratloe fellas, and the intensity of the Cratloe challenge hasn't died at all. Indeed, Liam Markham down in front of his manager, I suppose, after the last body kick wide, he had to show up with a work rate. And here comes the ball to Joe. Joe gives it back to Heher. Here comes Heher, Kevin Heher. What's Heher going to do with this one? He recycles the ball back to Healy, and Lawrence Healy, a shot, and it hits the post again. And definitely is not going to be in his Diamonds day. And the ball comes out to David Collins, out to Conor McGrath, out here in front of the stand side, out in front of his own manager McGrath, being chased up by Killian Ryan, gets the ball back to O'Hanlon. Cahill O'Hanlon giving the ball back out to Dermot Ryan. Cahill O'Hanlon, is Cahill McInerney going to be replaced on the Cratloe team? Looks like it. And ball out to O'Hanlon to Shane Gleeson. A lovely punted pass left foot into Killian Fair. Fair gets out in front of Darragh Keneally. Here comes Fair. Turns, sells a dummy to Keneally and shoots off his left foot. A shot from Killian Fair straight over the bar. 1 goal and 15 to 8 points. And indeed, Joe, Cratloe, they're going to have a big say in this championship. Cahill McInerney coming off, and it's McInerney for McInerney, one for the other. And I tell you, Cratloe, they had a good win in the first match against Clondalkin, lost to Rogue, but definitely they're back on track, Joe.
Listen, I suppose Leo were there off it. They probably went into the Aero game knowing that they were more or less qualified. The only thing that could possibly catch Cratloe now is injuries. Right, they have to go out hurl now next week. Win or lose next week to go football in the following week. So it's just injuries. There'll be no problem with their heads. They're very clued in fellas. They don't act idiot off the field. So there'll be no problem with their heads, or there'll no problem with their attitude. It's just hopefully keep the injuries fresh.
Yeah, indeed, we're down in the dying moments here of this senior championship quarter-final. Cratloe 1 goal and 15. Ennistymon 8 points. The ball comes out to Shane Gleeson. Shane Gleeson being chased by David Fitzgerald, and the ball comes out to O'Hanlon. It's Conal O'Hanlon. 30 yards from goal. Gives it out to Fair. Fair has 1 point got. Indeed, nonchalantly just kicks it off with right. And indeed, Joe, this man has his hand put up for serious selection.
Yeah, listen, I said it. Killian Fair has a right leg and a left leg that left leggers. I don't even know what foot he kicks with. He can kick off his right, he can kick off his left. Like them 2 points there are probably 2 of the sweetest kicks all day. He's on the wrong side of the clock, I suppose. He's in his late 30s. But if you can bring on a calibre of that fella with 10 or 12 minutes to go and try and loosen him up and get a bit of ball into him, look at him, he's going to kick points, and that's nothing but a plus for Cratloe. And
the kick out from Shane Keane finds Heher, and Conor McGrath has been replaced by Damien Brown, and the ball comes out. It's a Sean O'Driscoll, the full-back for Ennistymon, trying to get the ball into McConaughey, who had a penalty save. Here comes the ball to David Fitzgerald. David Fitzgerald gives the ball out to Cian Shannon, and there's a late challenge there. A late challenge there on a yellow card. A red card. Is it for David Fitzgerald? Yeah, David Fitzgerald, he challenged, ran straight in to Sean O'Garman, and David Fitzgerald is now really, whatever hope Ennistymon had of a challenge is definitely long gone by now, as are now down to 13 players.
The challenge was gone a long time ago, but silly. He had the ball, he lost it. Crashing. I don't know why he did it now, but it was silly yellow to take. Ennistymon now have to finish the last minute and a half with 13 players, as if their job wasn't hard enough. But I've played against Dave Fitzgerald. He's much better than that. He just didn't get going at all today. It's a pity because Ennistymon needed him. But listen, he wasn't the only one that didn't get going, I suppose. But listen, he's young enough, and they're good enough to be back next year.
Indeed, they've been very good at underage, and you keep knocking the door at underage, you eventually make the breakthrough in senior. And I suppose, though, looking at the Ennistymon challenge and the positives going forward, Cahill Malone, I suppose, has been their real positive. A man who plays he plays his club hurling with Sixton Bridge, and he's probably their leading light today, Joe.
100%. He was the best player in the field for Ennistymon. He never stopped. He's still going. He's in full forward now, looking for balls in, but they're not going to get him. But he can't be faulted one bit. But no, it's the game is well up now, and Cratloe only waiting for the final whistle and get preparation for the hurling semi-final next week.
Yeah, indeed, Cratloe going to be in 2 semi-finals, and here comes Shane Keane with the kick out. And if ever, I tell you, there's no doubt about it. When anything goes wrong, it's Murphy's law. When anything goes wrong, it all goes wrong. Shane Keane's kick out finds the sanctuary of the sideline. And indeed, I think a lot of the assignment players are looking for the sanctuary to side, and at this stage also 1 goal and 16, good score line by any stretch of the imagination to 8 points. The ball back from Dermot Bryan, back to Killian Fair, who gives it to Sean Collins, and Cratloe still making the runs. Here comes Conor Cooney leaving the ball out to Liam Markham was a backman playing above now, wing forward, back out to David Collins, and Cratloe still making the runs, out to Killian Fair, who's hit 2 lovely sweet points. Here comes Killian, foot pass back out to Liam Markham, indeed in his time, and just sitting back and hoping that Pat Cosgrove will take him out of their misery here in the quarter-final of the Senior Football Championship. The ball is with Sean Collins back to David, back to Killian Fair. Cratloe going back to the direction of their own goals, and here comes Fair. He gives a ball, an outside ball. What a pass out to Sean O'Gorman. Sean O'Gorman gives the ball out to Shane Gleeson. Here comes Gleeson gives it back to O'Gorman making a run, and the ball goes in over the head looking for Billy Connors, who's been also introduced, and here comes Sean O'Gorman, and Killian Ryan has the ball out for in his time and gets away from the challenge of O'Hanlon, but O'Hanlon still trying to put in the challenges, gives a push in the back there on Killian Ryan. And indeed, Joe, as we look at this game, as we said, tis as good as over. Indeed, it's Creek na Hanishes as Pat Cocktails blows the final whistle, and it's Cratloe who move into the semi-final of the Senior Football Championship and continue their race for a double, and in the continued race for Canon Hamilton and Jack Daly. Cratloe 1 goal and 16 in his time in 8 points, and definitely Joe, Cratloe by far and away the better team.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, bar the first 10 minutes when Ennistymon were in control of the game, and when Cratloe were finding their feet, Cratloe have bossed the game for 50 minutes. The penalty was a turning point, as in it totally killed Ennistymon's challenge in my eyes. Even if they scored, I still think maybe Cratloe would have won out eventually, but it totally killed off their challenge, totally killed off their belief. Even the next goal chance they had that Pierce saved was it definitely killed them all together. But Cratloe, listen, looking at them there now, if they can get over the hurling next week, Leo, with no major injuries to any of their lads, I wouldn't fancy drawing them in the semi-final.
There's no doubt about that. And 1 goal and 16 is a formidable score. And considering, as you said, Joe, that Ennistymon were 3 points and no score up after 5 or 6 minutes, and what a turnaround after that. And even looking at the Cratloe players, and I know Ennistymon were down to 13, they seem to be running as good at the end as they were at the beginning, Joe.
Yeah, listen, they're very fit, they have great engines, and I suppose maybe just the mood in the club at the moment, winning hurling matches, winning football matches, it's easier training, it's easier put the head down, and that looks to be what's going on at the moment. Look at them down there now, looking at their body language, they're in good place. They get through this week now, hurling, get through the game next weekend, and they'll go ball headed in for a semi-final of the football. And
indeed, as you said, Joe, momentum is a great thing, and a lot of people can get mentally set up on the tiredness issue, but momentum week to week, it can be a great thing also.
There's no problem with momentum. As I said to what could catch Cratloe is the injuries. There'll be no problem with momentum. These boys won't mind playing this week, next week, the week after. It's just you don't. They've such a big overlap of dual players. Between both panels, it's probably nearly 20, and it's just to mind injuries. And that's. They seem to have it managed at the moment, right? And the Bice missed today from the hurling last week. Dermot Ryan missed a few hurling games from the very first football match, but if the Bice can clear up and play next week, they're going into 2 weeks maybe with a possible full deck to pick from.
And indeed, Joe, looking at the Cratloe team and looking at Colm Collins going forward with the Clare team, is there any players there today that you would pick out that maybe would come into the thoughts of Colm that maybe might get a run during the league? And I know you'll be on the opposition this year, and what?
Not in the league, thank God, we're down a division. But I suppose anyone we've spoken about or looked at are probably, unfortunately, they're inter-county hurlers, So, like Colin McInerney, Conor McGrath, these lads are 100% good enough, and I'm sure Colin would love to have him on playing for Clare. I've no doubt now he'll jump into his car and head back to other games this evening and go to other games tomorrow. He's always looking out for new talent. He's always looking out for who could make the step up. Again, I suppose Ennistymon's best player was an inter-county hurler today, but Killian Rowan, he kept battling, as you said. He had a good year this year, as in relation to he was on the training panel, so he would have been exposed to a lot of the standards that the Clare inter-county team bring. He'll hopefully push on and get a good few minutes in the league next year and get game time under his belt, play National League and step up again. So other than that, Joe, there's probably everyone we'd like to bring on are probably caught up hurling or Joe. So that's just the unfortunate thing about being such a huge dual club that they're all playing football or playing hurling for Clare. But listen, I've no doubt after the weekend he'll have a couple of names from all the games. Joe, I've no doubt he'll head back to Clare now. There's 2 games on in Clare. He'll get the end of the intermediate and maybe the senior, and he'll see Erogan doing big tomorrow. So listen, he's no fool. He knows exactly what type to pick and who he wants.
And indeed, speaking of the same, as when kind of the opposition. We're going to do a preview of the Munster Championship here now between the recently appointed Colm Collins, who's, we're glad to say, is staying on for another year. And of course, for people that don't know it, Joe Hayes is a member of the Tipperary backroom team for the year ahead. Colm, tremendous display from Cratloe, and even at the final, with about 5 minutes to go, we seen you roaring out at your own son for an aimless kick. Standards are high, but you must be very happy with that performance.
Yeah, they played well now. I think that when we're mean with the ball and when we don't turn it over, we can do good things. And I think we only gave the ball away 3 times in the first half. So that's the kind of thing that you want. And got some good scores and we're patient. So overall, happy with the display. Yeah.
And Colm, in the first few moments in his time and got the first 3 points in play, and you hadn't, was it a conscious decision by all the players, to press up and to kick out?
Yeah, well, absolutely. I think that you need to. The opposition kick out is where the real scores are got, and if you can steal one of those, it's a scoring chance, if not a goal chance. So that it's something that we've got to get better at. But please God, we will.
And indeed, you must be very happy with the spread of scores, and Diarmuid Ryan 3 points in play, and the attitude, the work rate of your team never died from start to finish.
Yeah, they have a tremendous attitude. I mean, there's a lot made of the dual thing, but their workload is very light and they're very fresh, and I thought they showed it there today.
And indeed, they're in a hurling semi-final now, and of course now in the football semi-final, and of course you're well used to this over the years. You're always in the dying, contesting the semi-finals or finals, and years of experience. And again today, would you say experience was the key there today?
Yeah, I think that our forwards in particular were very efficient and got some very good scores. And I suppose, a lot of those boys are around a while, so you're probably right in what you say. You can't buy experience.
Indeed, looking at the rest of the teams in the championship, and I suppose what other team has really stood out for you? I suppose Rogue have set down a marker, and you'll be there. You're going to be having a big say in it. But who would you say is your major opposition?
Well, obviously we played Rogue and they beat us, and I was very impressed with them. I was impressed the way things were there, and they're all through the year. Milton have been very impressive, and then. The other quarter-final then is Kilmurray against Kilmahel, and Kilmurray get through. We beat on by experience. They've got that in spades, and a lot of very good footballers. So, be interesting championship.
And Colm, we must congratulate you on staying on for another year with the Clare senior football team. At least looking forward to the challenge ahead again.
Sure, I'm after everything I know now. It's gone down to Tipperary. Sure, the whole thing's gone pear-shaped.
And it's okay. You might see him in the championship, Joe. Joe, turning to you again, and Colm, thanks for that. Joe, at the end of the day, Cratloe, top class performance will be very, very hard to beat.
Yeah, listen, they will. They would have been everyone would have picked them out at the start of the year as being one of the teams getting into the semi-final. Joe, you mentioned it there about the standards they set. Joe, I think he said they gave away the ball 3 times in the first half, and that was probably in the first 10 minutes when we're kicking the 3 points. Their subs they brought on, Killian Fuer walked off it hard, got the ball twice, kicked it over the bar twice in the shooting zone, and then came out and held the ball there nearly on his own for the last 2 or 3 minutes where they were moving over and back. Listen, he knows what they're about. Joe, I'm sure he's quite happy going into the semi-final in 2 weeks' time. As again, their workload probably is light during the week. As I said, I just hope no major injuries occur next week, and that should give them a free reign of a free shot at it then Saturday or Sunday 2 weeks. I
mean, Joe Hayes, thanks very much for your time here, and we're going to have a word with Seamus Hayes before we go. Your father, we couldn't let him go without having the final word. And indeed, you could see a very happy Colm Collins there, and as you said it at half time, Seamus, experience, but in reality there was a big gap there.
There was a big gap in the second half. You could see Cratloe were finding each other a lot easier. They had men loose, all over the field. and they were able to use the ball better when they got it, and the further the game went on, the more panicky Ennistymon got, and I suppose the crucial incident in the game was the save and the penalty, and a couple of minutes after that, it just showed you Cathal McInerney was tuned in, quick free, bang into the net, and that really killed the game.
Yeah, and indeed, there's no doubt about it. And in fairness to, as Joe said there, the Lucas kickouts, they were on the money. He set up an awful lot of attacks for Cratloe.
Yeah, he set up an awful lot of attacks. But when you look at what they have here, Liam Macklem is a class footballer. Sean Collins, a centre back. Podge, centre forward, really ran the show. Cathal McInerney is class at the side. Conor McGrath never wastes a ball. Like every ball Conor gets, he'll find somebody, or he starts a movement that ends up in a positive for Cratloe. And they're going to be hard to stop. I know it's hard to manage both hurling and football, but they're going to be very hard to stop, and they must be in with a great chance of winning the title at this stage.
Seamus, thanks very much, and that is going to conclude our coverage here for Clare JTV from Cusick Park today. My thanks to Joe Hayes for his analysis, thanks to Seamus for his thoughts, and thanks also to Clare football manager Colin Collins for his thoughts. Thanks to the boys Michael Corrie and Cabra and Jack with the help out as well. So from Cusick Park, and the scoreline of Cratloe 1 goal and 16 Ennistymon 8 points is Cratloe, who move forward to the semi-final of the Clare Senior Football Championship. From Leo Dial and all in Cusick Park is Bannock Day, August Lawn.